you've got the ability, you hold something in your hand, which is lives. And Tish said, you're only as good as the team that you're leading. That's what makes Jeremy great. Not so much Jeremy, I'll be honest with you. I run a lot of different businesses. I run leaders is what I do. My team is a team of leaders. They cannot do what they do if they waited for me to make all the decisions. I have to go in there and I have to turn on that light switch. Okay? In order to do that, I have to understand what other great leaders possess. I like how Michael said, I did something at the men's retreat about George Washington and Jesus. And I skipped right over Michael. I didn't see his hand up when I was asking about the attributes of great leaders. And he just let me know why his hand was like, first and foremost going up. But I called on everybody else, and it's because I was in a tunnel vision. But I would love to read that book, by the way. Because, here's the thing. Great leaders should study great leaders. They should never stop. See, personal development is great. We're all in the personal development world, okay? Everybody in here, I believe. That's great. But if you're a leader, it's not for you no more. Leadership development is for everybody around you. And that should never stop. You should continuously develop yourself. Now, speaking of fires, I had a fire at one of my businesses 2 days before Christmas. 8 p.m. actually. I'm shutting down the house, doing my normal routine, and I hear from upstairs my wife scream out, "There's a fire at the Claire Winston house." That's our assisted living facility where we do a lot of different things, not just assisted living. We do adult day services. We have a transportation company that transports them to and from their doctor's appointments. So there's 3 businesses under one roof. It's my whole livelihood. And not just that, it's the people I care for. Wasn't expecting it. Here's the thing. I stopped asking God or praying to God to give me an easy life. Because you can't stay on the mountaintop. You're going to have to go through the valley. That's how we're built. And I do travel the world. I hit a lot of beaches. I even bring my laptop, for the ones that want to dig at people that like to do that. But here's the thing. I understand that it's not all mountaintop. It's not all beaches. Okay? See, instead of asking God to give me an easy life, I ask him to give me strength. Because if he can give me strength, I'll make it through whatever. See, everybody in this room right now has survived 100% of your bad days. 100%. I do something in my own house, in my businesses, and in my coaching practice. It's called Lessons and Blessings. Has anybody heard this before? I know some of y'all in the room's heard me say it, okay? Now, I'm not claiming that to have come up with it. I think I did, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just, this is too easy to roll off my tongue, but it's a mindset. When I get hired by somebody, I tell them there's a non-negotiable with me. You can only think in 2 different ways. That's it, at least when you're talking to me. Okay? Because you can think whatever you think outside that call or whatever, but when you're talking to me, there's only 2 ways you're allowed to think, and that's lessons and blessings. Now see, if you go throughout your day today and everything works out, the employees do what they're supposed to do, just everything rolls out easy, make sure you stop and show gratitude to, Michael Faber said, to whatever God you pray to, the universe, I don't care. But make sure you're grateful right here. Feel it, maybe even cry that you're so grateful. Give credit where credit's due. Okay? But if you go throughout the day and you stub your toe, you got a flat tire, your building, it catches on fire, I don't know. Train your brain to look for the lesson. Because either way you win, guys. Lessons or blessings is designed to no matter what happens in your life, because it's an up and down. It is peaks and valleys, and you're not promised to stay on the mountaintop. There's it's famous quote from the Bible, straight out of scripture. It said, this too, can anybody finish the sentence? Put it in the comments. See how fast your keyboards are. This too shall pass. That means good or bad. Did you know that? We use that during the hard times, but we need to remind ourselves that the good times don't last either. So be grateful. Feel that moment. Don't let it pass without you being grateful. And when bad things happen, like I'm looking at this building that's smoke's bellowing out of it, I have to make sure that I continue my revenue, not just for my employees or from my own pocket, but because it's a business and those people need my help. So of course I wanted to get emotional. I felt the emotions rising up in me. They're bubbling to the surface. As much as I am on mindset, I had to coach myself at that moment, like hard. Because this is one of those moments where you just want to fall to the ground and just say, why? Why me? But see, I had to switch my mind. I had to switch it as fast as I could because people were watching me. And it turned from why me to try me. See, I don't want to go through things over and over and over again. I want to grow through things, not just go through them. There's something called, I heard Deb, is it? Yeah, Deb was speaking, the law of energy. I want to talk about the law of polarity. If there's an up, there's a down. If there's an in, there's an out. If there's a good, there is a bad. It's a law. So simultaneously, as that smoke is bellowing out of this house, I was searching for the good. And sometimes that good is taking in a few breaths and calling my team, because the ones that were watching me, they were trying to figure out what Jeremy was going to do. Are we going to continue this thing? Is this mission over? Like all these questions, I'm sure probably deeper than that. Like, oh my God, how am I going to freaking make rent? Or how am I going to pay my car payment? But I called him, I said, hey, y'all, come here. Before the fire was even out, I said, hey, I need some ideas of how we can continue our revenue tomorrow. I didn't rely just on my brain. I wanted to lean on my people at that moment, but in a way that they knew that I took charge. I'm not going to sit there and let that be the end of the story. See, great leaders, they don't have all the answers, but they got to keep that fire freaking burning. So if you're a leader up in here, I want you to pay attention to the light that your people hold, and that you are directly responsible on if that fire gets stoked or not. That's your responsibility. Now, a lot of people have a hard time with that word. I'll reword that. You have the ability to respond. Now, this is not a lecture, guys. I'm speaking life into you right now. There is no such thing as an easy life, and that's okay. Just don't stop. Keep the mission going. David, I'm gonna leave that right there. And I appreciate Faber taking as long as he did, but I do have to go. I do have some appointments today. I'm in Dallas. I got a book launch this weekend, and man, so many great things are coming up. You got Costa Rica, Jamaica. I got some other more local masterminds going, so it's some good stuff going. But I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing here. Keep going, buddy.
I appreciate you, bro. And before you go, Jeremy, save the date for April 7th and April 8th. And I want to share this before Jeremy goes. The reason I picked these dates, and I know it's close to the women's retreat for Unleash Now, April 7th is the date that Austin saved my life. It'll be 19 years this year that I tried to take my life. And I want, this may span out to a 3-day event because this is a rebirth party for myself. And I don't like making things about myself. Everybody knows this about me. But I want this to be an awareness surrounding what a lot of people touched on suicide as a big part of their lives. And being it my 19-year celebration, it's going to kick off on April 7th. So put those in your dates, everybody, okay? For the speakers and everybody on Facebook and everybody on YouTube. Journey Forward with Every Step, Legacy in Motion is the theme for that summit. It's going to honor Joey, most importantly, and it's to honor the ones that we have lost, obviously, due to suicide. So I want to raise awareness around that for that theme, that summit. And also, don't worry about celebrating the other piece with me, but that's why I picked that date. Jeremy, I absolutely love you. I know you got to go. Can a couple people pour into you really quick before we let you go? Okay. Who wants, James, go ahead, brother. And I'm assuming maybe Raven, if she's still with us. Okay, go ahead, Jeremy, or James.
I mean, thanks for the comparison. We got Clark Kent and Batman right here, so I'll take that. Jeremy, my brother, always amazing. Ever since I've met you in our conversations and back and forth, we always throw the word intentionality. You're so intentional in what you do. You're so present with how you do it. I love how you show up. I love how you operate, and I love how you're very intentional about being present and telling other people the same. Bro, I keep rooting for you, man. I know we still have to connect about some stuff. I'm excited about that, but just keep being you, bro. Keep showing up. Freaking, you inspire other people, and you have no idea. So keep going, bro.
Thank you,
Love
brother.
you, James. Go ahead, Mary, really quick, and then we'll go to Megan.
Hi, Jeremy.
Dr. Raven.
I'm so appreciative of you. So grateful. You know, you talk about giving gratitude every day. And one of the people I give gratitude for is you, because of the work that you did to transform my faith and my business and my practice, helping me not to quit, and you just encouraged me. And it's an authentic way you come across to me, which is really important for me. I don't like fakery. And you're such an authentic guy and such a approachable person. I don't know. I just love you to pieces. I really do.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Really
Raven. I
love you.
give it up for Dr. Raven, by the way. First time on here. She is a goat, okay? And if y'all haven't connected with her or set up connections, please connect with her. She's doing big stuff in the world. And I absolutely love her mission and what she stands for. And thank you for the kind words. That means a lot. Thank you, David. Thank you, guys. man, more than half this room, I love you guys. And the ones I don't know, would love to get to know you as well. So keep doing your thing, David.
Absolutely, brother. Megan, really quick, and then we gotta
Yeah,
switch.
just love how you framed all of the like why me or go through this but grow through this, and that's so important, especially for people who are still surviving things. And we that's just I'm so glad you shared that. And thank you for doing that today. And what you and Stephanie do is so important for people with disabilities. And just thank you for that. I'm grateful for what you bring into the world.
Thank you
It's
so
good
much,
to see you.
Megan.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Jeremy. Have a blast with. I think you said it's a book launch, right?
Yep, book launch is called Leader Up, and actually talk about the story of what I shared with you guys, that our business took a hit, but great leaders don't leave it there, right? They're gonna keep going. By the way, we did the very next day, we came up with a plan and we continued our revenue. We never stopped operations. So God is good.
That is awesome, brother. Well, have fun with the book launch. Thank you for joining us on the summit. Thank you for bringing Raven to the mountain. Always appreciate you and love you, brother, and have fun out there in Dallas. It's a lot warmer than it is here in Colorado. So enjoy your time. All right, everybody. I'd love to welcome another new mountaineer on the summit. This is Jessica Moyer, who is a part of the Unleashing Now family, and I am so grateful that Michael Faber recommended her to me when I was starting to set up the summit framework back a couple of months ago. I've seen Jessica on Facebook quite a bit, and I've always wanted to reach out. And when I started setting this all up, Michael gave me a list of folks that I needed to reach out to, and Mary and Jessica was one of those two that was a priority on my list. And after hearing Jessica's story when she and I were setting everything up, it blew me away. And so I'm not going to say anything more about it because I can't do it justice. And so, with that being said, Jessica, the summit is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you guys all hear me okay?
Yep, we can
I
hear you
I have my
perfectly.
Great Dane Mastiff in the background on the bed, and you might hear him snore. He is a beast. So, David, thank you for inviting me to this. This is God, just hearing all of you talk, and we have so much in common, and I keep it real, and that's why I love this group. That's why I have always been like attracted to what Michael does because I base my whole life on being authentic and real. And I just actually released a book called Real Health, which reached #1 bestseller. But the premise is on being authentic and what you can achieve in life. So I just wanted to share a little bit about me. I'm going to keep it fairly short because I know we're a little behind time, and I know that there's other speakers coming up. So. Long story short, when I was 27, I was sitting in Bethesda Naval Hospital with my son, who was 4 months old at the time. My husband was most likely going to get deployed because it was 2 weeks after the attacks of September 11th. And no one forgets that unless you weren't born yet, which I think everyone on here was born. But what led me to that time in the hospital was my son was not meeting typical milestones. My firstborn Isabel was born 9 weeks early, so I really didn't have much to compare it to. And so as I sat there, any mom or parent knows like you have these instincts, and I knew deep down something was very wrong. I just had no clue what to expect. And so as the doctor came in and examined him, she left the room, she came back with a neurologist. I knew something was terribly wrong. And so when they came back in and shared the news that my son had a disease called spinal muscular atrophy, my first thought was, well, I can handle a child with a disability. God has given me this beautiful gift, and whatever it is that, we'll manage. And within the next breath, she continued and said, "You don't understand. There is no treatment or cure for this disease." And I still kind of like confused. And then she said, "He's not going to live to celebrate his first birthday." So that was the news that I faced at 27 years old. I had never really lost anyone close to me other than a gymnastic coach, really hadn't lost any grandparents, no one. And so the news of having to watch my son pass was the worst that I've ever received in my life. And so that's what I did. I took him home and I loved him. And I could go on about the next 5 months and how brutal it really was. And I won't go into the details, but things that no parent should ever have to do for their child. But the beauty of Stephen's life has brought me to like days like this where I get to connect with people that have been through a lot of trauma. We all have a cross to bear. I'll never forget, I was a pharmaceutical rep coming out of college, 23 years old, and meeting another rep who had just lost his son to cancer. And I just thought, you know, when you think you're never going to be in those shoes, like that's never going to happen to me. That's so sad. Well, there I was faced with that. And so the day after Stephen's funeral, I miscarried. My body had shut down. Within 4 months, I lost another baby in utero. So I had just been through this period of just heartache and loss and trauma. However, I held on to all the beauty that did surround me. I had a really close family that supported me. And anyone that's gone through loss, you know, we try to grasp onto something that gives us hope. And so in that time, I had reached out to some other moms who had lost their babies to the same disease, which had never been heard of really at that time. It's called spinal muscular atrophy, but it's like Lou Gehrig's in infants. And it's lumped into the muscular dystrophy family. So it's a really devastating disease. But anyway, I'd reached out to these moms and they had nonprofits in their child's memory. So I decided, even before Stephen passed, that I was going to start a nonprofit in his memory because I didn't know what else to do with my energy. Like, how was I going to pour all this energy into something? You know, I had my daughter who was almost 3 at the time. My husband was serving in the military, but I knew that I had to cling on to something, and so I did. Poured my heart and soul into nonprofit and fundraising. To date, we've raised over $2 million for a cure, and to date, there is 4 treatments for babies, for children, for adults with SMA. And so to see that come to fruition is such a big deal. But I share that because when we go through these heartaches, something's got to come out of it, right? We get to choose what we're going to do with that heartache. And for me, that was my choice, that I was going to start a nonprofit and support other families and try to see a cure in my lifetime. So a few years after that, I lost my father, who was my hero. He was like the person that cheered me on the most. And so again, I went into my mid 30s with more loss. And for many of you, you know, when you lose people, you just kind of put one foot in front of the other and you kind of feel like you live in a fog because the world's going on whether we want it to or not. I had 2 more healthy boys. My husband did deploy, but came back from deployment, we decided it was time to get out of the military. We settled in Delaware. That's how I met Michael, through Javier. Um, and yeah, so life just kept continuing, and I was doing all the things, but I truly wasn't embracing all the joy that there was to life. I was surviving. And how many of you can relate to just living in that survival mode? And it's just not a fun place to be. Like, is this all there is to life? And again, I was doing all the things I was supposed to do and caring for everyone else and showing up for everyone else. I'm in the wellness industry, so I was doing all those things, but I was so depleted and depressed and anxious all the time. And so in my early 40s, I decided it was time to make some changes. I had some health issues. I was, again, just very depleted. So I started to seek out some personal growth and development. And again, that's kind of how I wound up in this group. I went to a John Maxwell certification. I started a mastermind. I then became a Ziglar Legacy coach and opened a gym in Delaware. So I know I have some commonality with some people in this group as far as how movement has been therapy for me. But yeah, so I opened this gym in Delaware. I owned it for 5 years, and it was a sanctuary or place or community for women. Men were invited, they just really didn't come, to come and just feel seen and heard and to really work on their overall wellness. Because ladies, let's face it, no offense, gentlemen, but ladies are doing all of the things. They're taking care of everyone else, and we are typically the last to come. Like, when it comes to anything, we put ourselves last. And so my mission in the last about 10 years has really to say to people, to leaders, to women, that you have to show up for your health first. Because if we are not healthy, we can't show up for everyone else. And if any of you have had health issues, you know that. Even if you have a flu, like you can't show up in life. And so that's a big part of my mission today is to emphasize the importance of living healthy through realistic steps. And we could go off on a tangent about health, but that's not my point today. My point today is also to share some tools that have really helped me through my growth journey. And I realized over COVID, I'd gone to the Ziegler Legacy certification and then we shut down. And so I just opened my gym. I didn't know what to do, but I was given the tools through the Ziegler family that I wrote a book. And in the book, I realized what were the tools that had helped me through all of this grief and loss and trauma. And I call it the 5G mindset. So I just want to share a little bit about what that mindset is. And it's a great conversation piece as well. Number one is gratitude. And I know someone had just mentioned that I was listening to. Like we all should be practicing gratitude. Like what are we thankful for each day? Because it can truly change your outlook on the day. Scientifically proven that we will have a more positive, optimistic mindset when we focus on the blessings in our life because we have them, but our brain is wired to look for all the warning signs, all the fight or flight, instead of focusing on the things that are working. And that really, when you shift that mindset, it opens up a whole new world for you. So that's one. Two is generosity. And I love sharing this story because it's just so cool. When I went to the Ziegler certification, we had a speaker named Bob Beaudine. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him. He wrote the book Two Chairs. He works with huge sports teams. He's a Christian man, but he had everyone take out their phones and he said, I want you just to text one or two people that you've been thinking of, but maybe you just don't tell them, like, I'm thinking of you, I love you, you're checking in with them. And so we all did that. And then about 20 minutes later, he wanted some responses. So I had this guy, Brent, in my class, and he reached out to a lady that was living in California at the time. And he said, Hey, I've been thinking about you. I haven't seen you in a long time, but I was just thinking about you. And so she responded back saying, Yeah, I've been thinking about you too. Let's get together. And they got married that summer. And so I just share that story because the power of just a small text can literally change your life or someone else's. And so by practicing small acts of generosity, whether it's holding the door, smiling, I personally seek that out every day and how I can make a difference for someone. And I think all of you as leaders in this group are probably already doing that. But it really, again, it makes you feel better and you can change the outcome of someone's day. The third is growth. And just being on here together, we're learning and growing together. So we have so many things that we have right at our fingertips that are free resources. So we're seeking out growth every day. What can you learn and how can you teach someone else that? Fourth is grit. And that's like one of my favorite words. And I know, again, I've listened to many of you and you all have it. But it's resilience. It's getting up when you fall. It's you keep moving forward. You don't stop going just because you had a bad day or something bad happened to you. Or as Michael said, like, people might be talking trash about you. We've all dealt with that. But it's just getting up and keep moving forward. That is so critical to leading in life and to leading. Like I live my life like, how are my kids watching me? I want to leave a legacy for them. And so I really try to emulate that. And then the fifth is grace. And that is just practicing forgiveness for yourself, for others, knowing that we're imperfect human beings, that no one has it all together. It might look like that from the outside. It's all sparkly and shiny and we see all the nice posts, but we all have imperfections. We all have days where we make mistakes, we falter, that God is going to forgive us, and that there's always a new horizon or a new summit to say. So they're my 5 Gs. I'm at the point in my life where I'm 51. I never am shy about my age because I've earned every year. I'm going to turn 52 soon. But I'm seeking out just new opportunities, new ways to pour into others. And back in December, I have to share this all with you. Back in October, I sent in a video to submit for a reality show. I don't know if anyone's heard of Mr. Beast. But Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber in the world, and he does a lot of crazy reality things. So I didn't know what I was signing up for. I got chosen. I went in December. I had no idea what was going to happen. They just tell you where to show up and when. And it was called the Beast Competition 1 to 100. You guys can look it up on YouTube. But I share that because if I didn't put myself in an uncomfortable position, I would have never had this incredible experience meeting people from all over, listening to them because they take our phones, which was the best part of it all. And I got to just meet some incredible people. In fact, one of the ladies, she was in her 60s. She had lost her son like a month before to suicide. And I was like, just, my heart broke for her, but I was like, she's doing this in his memory because she knows like he would want her to be doing it. And so, and she had a message to share. But, if you don't step outside your comfort zone and push yourself and do hard things, you never know what you will be missing out on. So I encourage all of you to do that. And also to show up for your health in small ways because you are not replaceable to the people that love you. I know that because my dad, like I said, was 62 and I watched him care for everyone else. And he never had that future with my mom. And it's been 18 years and she still cries every day. And so if we can be proactive with our health, despite all the stuff that we know will happen in our life, like we're not going to escape it, that we're going to be better equipped to handle it all and to show up for all the people that love us. So that's really all I wanted to share today. I am just honored to be here with all of you. I wish I could have been on for all of this, but when I signed up for this, I didn't realize I literally had like back to back Zooms, and I'm not good at sitting either. Like it's a struggle for me to sit long. So I was teaching 20 classes a week to sitting for Zooms in the last 6 months. So it's a challenge for me, but that's all right. I get to be with all of you guys. So I just appreciate you. I would love to connect with all of you. It's Jessica Smith Moyer on Facebook. But I would love to just support you and, however I can. So, hey, James. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
David.
Jessica. Thank you so much. I know we were running behind today, and I'm glad we were
That's
able to
okay.
adjust to make this work. I'm still thankful to Michael that he referred you over to me to have you on the summit with us. Didn't even know your story until you and I jumped on that Zoom call. I think it was about a week or a week and a half ago. I don't even remember now. But I'm always extremely grateful for those who want to join into the MBM family, and a lot of the blue and green is a part and interweaved into the MBM family, and there's new blood in that's part of different communities. So that's what I love about this, and so thank you for joining us and helping and pushing out the movement of supporting the legacy of my brother. That's the up and foremost priority in my life, and supporting everybody here that joins us and everybody on Facebook. So from me to you, thank you so much for joining us today. And James already put his hand up, and he'll probably start screaming into the microphone if I don't let him talk, because as we all know, he is a very vocal young man. So James, go ahead, brother.
No, Jessica, it is so fabulous to see you and see you doing your thing. I mean, ever since we connected on Facebook, I don't necessarily always comment, but I always pay attention. And you've been moving and shaking and rocking it now. And when I saw David put the graphic up that you were going to be here, low key, one of the most excited moments to see for me. I'm glad you showed up, and I'm glad you brought it, and you brought it intentionally, and you brought it genuinely. And it's good to see you. I hope to see more of you, and I want to encourage you to keep bringing it.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, brother. Who else before we kick it over to our next speaker? Go ahead, Sierra.
Jessica, wow, what a powerhouse you are. Just like your cadence and the way that you're speaking and sharing your story. I think that I just started following you on Facebook. I think we just became friends recently, and it was nice to get to know you here and hear your story in person. And I can't wait to learn more about you. So thank you.
Yeah, let's connect, Sierra. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Go ahead, Deb.
Jessica, it's so amazing to bask in your energy.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being so open, and there was no shade thrown on the men. They know.
Not at all.
And the men here are exceptional, but yes, the women's wellness, and of course, when you were talking about it, all I could think of was, the last time I was flying back from New York, and it's like, if you want to assist anyone else, secure your own oxygen mask first.
Yep, it's a big part of my mission.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
much love.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank
And I can too, David. I know you talked a little bit about suicide, and I really kind of, I don't want to say I shade over that part, but when my husband was getting deployed to Afghanistan, I was 9 months pregnant with my son Blaze, and I was extremely depressed because I just lost my son the year before. He's getting deployed, and I'm moving in with my parents and an alcoholic brother. And after the birth of Blaze, I literally checked myself out of the hospital the day after. I was planning a huge gala, and I'll never forget, there was a particular day that I was like, I think I'm done. Like I can't do anymore. And that's when I did, like I said to my dad, and my dad was old school, like you just suck it up and you do it. And not that he wasn't supportive, but I'm like, you don't understand. Like I can't breathe. I feel like I want to end my life because I'm so overwhelmed with all these emotions. And so he took me seriously and reached out to a psychiatrist at that point. But that's the important part, is to reach out for help. You're never alone, even if you feel it. Even if it's me or anyone on this call, like just tell someone like I'm struggling today, because it can save someone. So,
Thank you for sharing that, Jessica. I absolutely agree with you 100%. That's an important piece to share. Donna, go ahead.
Hello, hello. Well, Jessica, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing with us today. I continually am amazed at what, as women, we are able to endure and go through, and like the phoenix, we rise again and up from the ashes. And it's a beautiful story of resilience and turning loss into something fabulous, in honor of your son. And that's a very beautiful thing. Just found you on Facebook. I will be hooking up. It turns out my cousin is a friend of yours. I don't know if you actually know each other or not, but
who is it?
Abby Robinson, she lives in Delaware.
Yep.
So
Isn't it a small world, right?
her husband's my cousin.
Okay.
Anyway, amazing. I look forward to connecting with you. There's some synergy in our messaging. So, God puts you where he wants you, and he
Yes.
wanted me today. So
Yes.
thanks.
I'm glad I hung on today, because I was like, I don't know if I can do another Zoom.
Well, I'm glad you did too, Jessica. And Donna, thank you for sharing that. These long haul Zooms that we do, it takes it out of all of us, especially near the home stretch. And, but I love doing it, and I appreciate everybody that sticks with me, because it's absolutely, in my opinion, important and needed. And everybody here that has been here before in the past or currently is something that I always appreciate. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your vulnerability and opening up and sharing your story. And I will be in touch for future summits and stuff like that, because Austin is good at reminding me. He keeps the list of everybody so I don't miss anybody. And that's a new assignment that he just found out about. So that's a new thing he's going to be doing for me so I don't miss anybody. So thank you for your time. Absolutely appreciate you. And we're going to keep this thing rolling, everybody. We're in the home run stretch here. We've got maybe 5 more speakers left to go. And, I could keep going all night long, but I know it's got to come to an end. Like my grandfather always said, all good things have to come to an end at some point, because it builds to something even greater in the future. And he always had to tell me that, because when we would come back from a hunting trip or coming back from Disney World, I was not a happy camper from the Disney World time, because I was a kid, and hunting trips, because that was really the only time I would ever get the opportunity to spend time with just me and him. And, poke his brain and learn about his time in World War II and what inspired him to go serve during that time. And so we're going to finish this thing out strong, and we're going to continue on the mountain climb as we get closer to the summit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know this name, and some of us may not, but this is Ciara Wilson. She is a absolutely stunning, gorgeous, lovely woman that pours her heart into helping people get healthier. And that's what I love about what we've got here at the tail end of the summit as we get closer to the mountaintop. Because we started out the summit with Igniting the Spark, and we heard powerful stories. And then we started today with The Time Is Now. And one of the most important pieces is about building up our health, getting stronger, finding ways on strengthening, and finding holistic ways on helping and healing our bodies instead of having to put medications from the pharmacies and the doctors. And I know this is a big passion that Ciara loves to talk on, and Ciara and I have a lot of commonalities in certain areas. And I'll never forget the first conversation we had 3 or 4 summits ago about bringing her on to the summit. And when she told me what she wanted to talk back then, it blew me away. And now I don't think we even talk about what she's going to be sharing, because I know it's going to be heart driven, soul centered, and it's going to hit everybody right in between the eyes and the heart and soul. And so with that being said, Ciara, the summit is yours.
Thank you, David. And thank you to everyone who's spoken so far. I've been tuning in on YouTube and catching it here and there as I can. And it's so interesting. I mean, it's a God thing that we don't all talk about what we're going to say before we get on camera. And somehow there's just this seamless, beautiful thread throughout everyone's stories where we see each other in each other, even if our stories aren't exactly the same. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be part of this story that we're all writing together. So I'm going to do something a little different than I normally do. As David says, I'm all about building health, not chasing disease. If we build health, disease is less likely to exist in healthy bodies. And I thought that was going to be a lot of what I talk about, how we ignite the spark, and the time is now. And I would challenge people, build your health. Don't wait till you're sick. Some of that will be woven into this. But recent events, just in the last week, drastically changed what I thought would be the best use of my time here. So I'm going to ask everybody to get a pen and paper, because we're going to do some writing, not the notes section of your phone, because there's a very big difference between taking pen to paper and typing on your phone. There's literally like a head, heart, hand connection. So we want to be able to grab something to write with. I'm going to ask you to truly sit with yourself and write down who you are. Not what you do, not who you are to other people. So if you're an accountant, you're not an accountant in this exercise. That's what you do. That's not who you are. A lot of what we do is very heavily ingrained in who we are, but there is a distinction. Maybe you're a father, but that's what you are to someone else, even though it's heavily ingrained in how you live your life and how you show up. There is a difference between who you are for someone else and a role that you fulfill and who you are in the core of your soul. You can be fatherly in the core of your soul, but you're not a father in the core of your soul. I hope that makes sense. You can be motherly, but there is a distinction, and I'll get to that here in a bit. We're going to take just a few minutes, and I'm going to be really honest. Sometimes when people give me exercises like this, I'm like, okay, I'll play the game. I'll write some things. I am asking you to truly write who you are. Like, take some time. I'm going to shut off my camera so that we have silence for about 2 minutes. And I want you to write who you are. Would anyone like to share who they are? Deb, go ahead.
First and foremost, so happy to see you again.
You as well. I know we like became besties at the last summit. We didn't even know each other.
No.
So good to
Okay.
see your face.
Likewise. I am a poet, a lover of life, a sweet and kind person, and a darn good plant-based cook. I'm also forever curious and grateful.
I love that. Deb, it's so nice to meet you. The real you.
The real me.
Would anyone else like to share? Donna?
Sure. I am, who am I? I am love, support, success, possibilities, infinite light, and the future.
It's so nice to meet you, Dr. Donna.
Thank you.
Josh,
Mine
so
was
good to see
simple.
your face.
I just wrote, I am love.
I love that. Do you want to expand any more on that? What does love mean to you? It means different things to different people.
Love to me means action. It means how we show up in the world. It means how we navigate experience. It means how we connect with others. But really, it just means at our depth what we honor and value with every breath of our existence.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Josh. It's so nice to meet you. All right, Mary. Oh, wait, there's two Marys. Mary Wood.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hi, Sarah. So I
Hi.
am love. I am love, light, divine embodiment of energy. I am all heart, deeply compassionate spirit at my core.
Mary, it's so nice to meet you. Mary Owens, would you like to share?
Sure. I am not kind, I am compassionate. I am love, I am light, I am shadow.
Wow. That's really deep. Thank you for acknowledging the shadow. I don't think that's talked about enough, and we could go so many places with that. But thank you. It's so nice to meet you, Mary.
Nice to meet you.
Would anybody else like to share? And if you would and I can't see you, go ahead and just unmute yourself.
I wrote kind of whatever was coming to me. I am the daughter of a king. I am the light in the dark that others need to see. I walk with purpose and compassion. I hold hands with those that can't stand on their own. I am you and you are me.
Here, it's so nice to meet you. interesting because I know a lot of you, but it's different to know you, like know of you and truly know you. And it's so fun to watch people get to know themselves, because when we're in a world where we have labels put on us, whether we put the labels on ourselves or somebody else does, that tends to be who we think we are. And as so many people have talked about today, and I will share as well, sometimes those labels get taken away very quickly. And who are we without those labels? Who are we when we're not playing that role? Who are we when we're not in that career? Who are we? Because it's so easy to get so lost in what we do and who we are to other people. So thank you so much for intentionally searching your soul and sharing who you are with all of us. So, with your permission, and if this is triggering to anybody, I completely respect for you to turn off your camera and step away. But for those who would like to participate, I'm going to invite you into a visualization of what I would consider a hard, unfortunate, maybe scary, maybe destabilizing situation that we could find ourselves in real life. But if someone's like, today is not the day that I want to go there, I completely respect that. And so I want to ask your permission if you're choosing to stay. I'm just letting you know we're going to go deep. So for those who would like to participate, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and settle into your chair. If you want to lay down, however you're most comfortable. And I'm going to ask you to, in your head, not in real life, in your mind's eye, imagine yourself waking up in a hospital bed. And imagine you're in a lot of pain. And imagine that people that you love are there with you. And you can see the concern in their face. And imagine that you don't feel right in your body. You obviously just woke up from surgery. You're feeling, if anybody's been under surgery, you're feeling the medication, doing what medication does. You don't feel like you're fully awake, but yet not asleep. You feel like you're a little loopy and just not really sure what's going on. And then the doctor walks in. And the doctor tells you that this surgery went as well as it could. And we have done what we need to do to remedy this situation. And also, if you do not choose a different career path or a different role within your career, that there's a possibility that you could end up right back here, right back in the same situation, right back in surgery, right back experiencing all the things you're feeling now. And that identity of what you do, how you show up and serve people, what your career is, just went from maybe a 5 to 10 year plan to a right now plan. We're just going to sit with that for just a couple seconds here and feel into how that news would feel in your body. I feel it in my heart. I actually feel a little discomfort in my chest, even visualizing what that feels like. Now we can open our eyes in real life. And I want you to write down or look at what you already wrote down. Are all those things still true? Even though there's differences in your body, there's differences in your ability to show up and fulfill different roles. Your career is going to look different going forward. Maybe your family life might look a little different going forward. If you feel like when you woke up from that anything is different than what you already wrote about who you are, please feel free to take some time to write that down. Does this in any way change who you believe that you are? I see a few people writing, so I'm just going to turn off my microphone for a minute and let those people write, and then we'll come back in just a minute. I love the music. That's a nice touch. Would anybody like to share if they wrote something down differently, what changed for them?
Go ahead, Deb.
I mean, I can tell you why mine didn't change.
That would be great.
And I think the lion's share of it is because I'm retired. And even when I was working at JP Morgan in New York City and living the life and I never tied myself too much to any of those things. I always felt like I was a salmon swimming upstream. I wasn't cut out for the corporate world, but I was in it. So I made the most of it. It was great, but it wasn't ever me. I never put much of my value identity into it. And I've done loads of shadow work, and I'm really happy and comfortable with who I am. I've met me. I'm nice.
Deb, you're definitely, I would say that is not commonly what I hear from people, that they very much tie their identity to what they do and how they make a living and how they feed their family. So I love that you were like, I'm in this world, but not of this world. This is a role that I'm fulfilling right now, but it doesn't make me who I am. That's really beautiful. What an awareness to have. Would anyone else like to share, like Deb, whether theirs didn't change and why they believe that is, or if theirs did change, what that looks like?
Go ahead.
Mary?
Hi. Okay, so I imagined myself in an accident with both knees broken and laying on a hospital bed and my family all around me. And as I'm groggy and I'm waking up and I'm in intense pain, immediately the shadow side of me starts blaming God. Again, as usual, why'd you let this happen? You know, I have so much to do. What's the purpose in this? But then the compassionate side of me, which isn't kind, but it's compassionate and it's going to push me through, and the athlete and the light, and it kind of embraces tenacity and resilience. And the David Goggins in me, like, get up, you got things to do, get it together, do your rehab, do what you have to do. So I lean into all of that part of me as well. So it's the light and the dark and the shadow working together.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's Raven. I've been calling you the wrong name
It's
because
okay. It's because Mary, my first name is showing up. It's okay.
I heard you speak earlier, but I didn't have it on video. I just was listening to audio. So thank you for David for pointing out, because I would like to call people by their correct names. Thank you for sharing. So the reason that we're doing this exercise is because in my life, this was not an exercise. This was 4 days ago that somebody I love very, very dearly was in this situation, is in this situation. And I borrowed some wisdom from Chad Hymas, who is a motivational speaker, who used to be a rancher, was in a horrible ranching accident. And when he woke up, his father-in-law was standing over his bed. And Chad said, "What happened?" And his father-in-law said, "Before I tell you what happened, can I offer something to you, a perspective? Do you believe that God can still use you in ways you never imagined, plans you never had for your life? But do you believe that no matter what happens from this day forward, he can still use you exactly as you are?" And then he told Chad, "You will never walk again. You are paralyzed." Well, for a rancher, that's going to very, very much impact life moving forward. Your body is your livelihood in that industry. It's ranching families. I grew up in a farm family. It just becomes ingrained in who you are and how you live your life, and everything revolves around it. And so that was what I shared with this person that I love very deeply. And you know, that life is going to look different, but do you believe that you have value no matter what happens, or what work looks like, what career looks like, what your role anywhere looks like after this? Do you believe intrinsically, you just being you, laying there in that bed exactly as you are, that you have value? And we've had a lot of conversations over the last several days. I actually was very grateful that the summit was running a little late, because we just got home from the hospital. And you should see my makeshift camera set up here on the end table trying to make this work. But I was like huffing and puffing, running in the door. And then Dave's like, "You have some time." I was like, "Oh, thank goodness." But this has been life. They always say, you know, you have a million problems until you have a health problem, and then you only have one problem. And I am encouraging everyone, don't wait until the health crisis to figure out who you are. Don't wait until the financial crisis to figure out who you are. Don't wait till you, heaven forbid, lose somebody that you love to figure out who you are. Are you probably going to find yourself in a lot of those unfortunate situations? Yeah, you're going to get to know yourself pretty well. But if you already at the core know who you are before you are forced to go through the fire, you're going to be able to navigate those situations so much better than you could if you're going into it completely unaware of who you are. Because no matter what happens in this life, things can be taken away from us. Unfortunately, people can be taken away from us. But who you are, the core of who you are, can't get taken away from you. You can have a health issue that causes parts of you to be taken away from you. But nothing can actually take away who you are in your soul and in your spirit and at your core. And so as much as I usually tell people, build your health, do the things, I feel like this is not the right time for that kind of conversation. Because in order to ignite your spark, which is the title of this summit, you have to have some kindling. You have to know who you are to be able to do anything with that flame. Because if you don't, you're just kind of starting fires everywhere, and that can get a little messy. If we know who we are, we can have a sense of direction. It helps us with our sense of purpose. In order to actually ignite the flame and move in a meaningful direction, we first have to know us. And so I don't believe in accidents or coincidences. I don't believe the last 5 days have gone the way they have for me to get up here and say exactly what I say in almost every presentation I do or some facet of it and be like, build your health, rah, rah, rah. Like, I felt like God's like, no, let's take a step back. Because yes, you are a natural health practitioner. That is part of what you do, but that is not who you are. And today, I'm a friend to everyone here on this summit. That's the role that I'm playing. And I just want to hold space for each other and connect at a deeper level of all of the decisions we make are based upon our self-worth and who we believe we are. And if you believe in yourself, you're more likely to naturally make what we would consider more health conscious decisions, maybe more financially conscious decisions, more, relational decisions. You're naturally going to make decisions to get where you want to go if you already know who you are. So you don't need me to sit up here and tell you to eat the green vegetables and to move your body and to drink your water. You know those things. And the more you love yourself, the more you value yourself, the more willing you are to do those things. So I'm just going to close with reiterating that we play a lot of roles in this life. And things can go certain ways. And we can gain things and we can lose things, but you can never lose you. That's something you get to keep as long as you've got your heart beating in your chest and air in your lungs. No one can take that away from you. So thank you so much for giving me this stage. Thank you so much for your participation. Really is beautiful to actually meet all of you more deeply, you for who you are. David, thank you for this opportunity to bring people together. And just the level of gratitude and appreciation I have for all of you. Again, no coincidence that as soon as we get home from the hospital, I'm seeing all your beautiful faces and feeling the love and support while also being able to share something that has happened and feeling so much from everyone here. Thank you so much. David, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Sierra. I keep asking why things keep, running behind, and that happens, things happen, and it's not Michael. It's divine intervention, because it was meant to have you come and do your thing. I haven't gotten to experience this side of you yet over the last year that I've gotten to know you. I just wanted to share with you really quick. For me, when you were taking everybody through that exercise, I put myself back in the situation when I was laying on the ice, and I came to and I was there by myself. And I came to and nobody was there and nobody came out to look for me. And I came, by the grace of God, God woke me back up when I was told with 3 brain bleeds and the cerebral tonsil issues that should have just ended it. And I keep asking myself why God did that, because we have a friend that 2 days ago, the night before the summit, and this stuff always seems to happen. A dear friend was ice skating with her grandkids and she fell backwards and cracked her skull and had a brain bleed, and she was sent home that night. And I keep asking myself, like, why am I the one that was, keep being spared this? And when you did this exercise, it put me back in that place, and I found value in the strength that I have within inside myself. That's the one core piece that has never dissipated out of me. No matter what comes my way, I can take it on because I know the family that I've got here with you guys. And that strength, even though physically I can't lift as much as I used to, but internally, heart-wise, I can lift anything that comes my way. So thank you for sharing that, and truly love you, sis. And we're going to kick this over to Zoom land, and we're going to let Michael go first this time because his hand was up first. And I know he has a lot of fans, so don't let that go to your head, dude.
I have no fans, but I did raise my hand first. Sierra, I want to say you're welcome because I was the reason why we're extremely late. But I was working for you.
Thank you.
Pay me later. But I want to say one, I heard you not that long ago on the cruise. Thought that was the best time I heard you speak. Before that, it was Movie Maker Live, but that was the best time I heard you speak. The way you let people in to you this time, I've never seen you speak like that. Where like you opened your heart to people, right? Like you weren't just an amazing resource in health. You're also the amazing person we knew you are, that we see in private conversations in our group calls. All right. So that was awesome seeing, and just letting you pour the story. I knew a little bit of it because of information or conversations, phone calls. But hearing that and knowing what it was and just experiencing with you, my heart was racing sometimes. I got like cold sweats. But how you handled it and just the fact that you're here alone doing this is testimony to your strength. And I know Mr. is near you, so tell him I said what's up.
I will do that.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Michael.
Lauren, what you got for us?
Well, maybe I should have put my hand up first because he said a bunch of what I was going to say, which was that I felt your heart like so deeply. I had goosebumps throughout most of the time you were speaking. And it is the side of you that I've seen like in private conversations and just getting to know you. And I'm so proud of you and the strength you have with what you're going through is incredible. And it's no surprise because you are such a wonderful person. But thank you for the reminder about like what is important, right? You made us stop, pause, and think about what we have and who we are. And sometimes we need to do that, right? We need to take that time to remember what's important to us, who's important to us. And you did exactly that. So thank you for giving everyone that time to pause and do that. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren, so much. Love you.
Thank you, Lauren. What do you got for us, Deb?
Well, I have gratitude and love for my mountain bestie over there. And also, these 2 days, there's been like I don't know if you've noticed, David, I'm sure you have, or Michael's noticed, there's been like 5 or 6, just solidly reoccurring themes. And one of them is identity and how so often when there's, a loss, a death, you know, and it challenges, much like Sierra challenged us, you know, with the, you know, guided imagery, the guided session, as to, you know, who are we, you know, and when we lose a person, you know, we also lose who we were with that person, how we were seen by that person. And that's a big part of it. Anyway, so the fact that this is something that happened fairly recently and you just got back today, the universe is fun.
To be really honest, I've been listening on YouTube to a vast majority of the speakers, and again, no accidents when the negative what ifs come into my mind. There was a speaker right there who was talking about something that like pulled me right back. Like, nope, the what ifs can be bad. There's also a lot of good what ifs. Like, what good can come to this? I truly, truly believe that we don't just go through things just to go through things. Like, I truly believe that there is some redemption, some part of our story that's meant to unfold that like can't get there sometimes through the butterflies and the rainbows. It is making you take a step back, making you sit with yourself in a hospital bed for multiple days and be like, what does life look like going forward? Who am I? And so it's been beautiful because we've heard story after story, like literally as I was listening yesterday, I can't remember who it was off the top. There were like 3 people in a row, and I was like, I needed to hear that part of that. I needed to hear that part of, like, God is so good that in a season, whereas like it's very easy to go to the negative, to go to the what ifs, to let the fear take over, that there's people here that don't even know that they're showing up for me because they're just showing up as who they are. And that's such a beautiful gift, because then I get to receive that. And some of them will never even know how their words or how one story they shared, or maybe one sentence they said impacted me over the last 2 days. So I'm just very grateful for this summit. There is no accidents.
I love that, Sierra. And you know, I agree with you 100%. No accidents. James, what you got? I saw you had your hand up, so go.
Sierra.
Hey, James.
I kind of want to break into song right now. With the way
Hi, I'm talking to Sierra, David, please. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Sierra, on top of everything that they all said, I just want to keep this really simple. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I understand you, I appreciate you, I love you, and I'm proud of you simply for being you and showing up the way that you just did. And that's really all I just want to leave you with.
Thank you so much, James. So many of those things right back to you. Love you too.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Sierra. That was beautiful. Really quick before we let you go, how's your hubby doing these days?
He's doing great.
Keeping you on your toes, I'm assuming?
Yes, doesn't he always?
Yeah. That guy's got some pretty epic dance moves, if I remember correctly. But
he does. Yes, he does.
So.
Thank you for asking. No, he's doing great. And he's been listening to the summit too. And we've been talking back and forth about things people have said, and like little things here and there. So I can go back and screenshot our text messages and save them as favorites to remember things people have said that meant a lot to both of us. So we think that that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad he's doing great. Thank you for joining us on the mountain once again. You know, it's always a privilege and honor to have you with us. And, you know, if there's anything you need, you know, I'm always here. And as everybody here is, love ya. Keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for bringing that side that absolutely rocked my world. So it was absolutely incredible. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
You are very welcome. All right, folks. We're getting close. Can't believe how quickly these things can go, right? You know, when we kicked this thing off yesterday, it was the beginning of something that I had no idea what was going to unfold. And here we are with story after story that has changed our lives. And I'm truly grateful and humbled by everybody that has, most importantly, that, that we can never get back is time. And when you do something like that in spaces like this, it's always a beautiful thing. So once again, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all the amazing speakers and to everybody that's poured in. Our next speaker is coming back for her second climb, and I'm always extremely grateful for that, like I always say. I met Dr. Donna back in, I think it was right before Thanksgiving, and we got on a half-hour call to talk about what the summit's all about, what my vision is for the movement. And she shared her story with me, and it was incredible and powerful. And she did share her story with us back in December. And I knew right away when I was setting up the lineup for the summits coming out in 2026 that Dr. Donna needed to come back, because she's a powerhouse, just like each and every one of you that has come before Dr. Donna and that will come after. And Donna, thank you so much for coming back to the mountain and providing your wealth of knowledge and your heart, and always appreciate that. So with that being said, the summit is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. My dog really wants to participate, so you might hear him barking. My kids are like running after him, trying to make him not talk. But so if we're thinking about igniting the spark, the time is now. I want to talk a little bit about the concept of waiting. How many of you have ever waited to do something? And what are we waiting for, right? We're waiting for, it's just not the right time, or when I get more confident, or when I have a little more money, I lose 5 pounds, more clarity. Oh, when the kids get older, when there's no fear, there's always fear, right? Michael Faber talked about that this morning, or earlier, a couple hours ago. I don't know when that was, but this idea that there's always fear, we have to face that fear, or permission. We've all waited for that. And we all have stories where that waiting has caused us to miss out on opportunities or experiences or love or anything, just enjoyment of life. One of the most dangerous words in the English language is someday. Think about that. Someday. It's dangerous because it's like, someday I'll do that. But we don't need to wait for someday, because someday is today. And what if the time isn't coming because the time's already here? Where you are right at this point in time is the perfect time, the perfect place for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. So let's talk about this concept of spark. A spark doesn't have to be like you are hit with a lightning bolt. It's that little dream that won't leave you alone, that little niggling in your ear that says, didn't you want to write that book? Didn't you want to start that podcast? Didn't you want to learn to knit or crochet? It's the dream you keep revisiting. Someday I'll go to Paris. Someday I'll go here. Someday I'll buy that car that I've been dreaming of since I was 17. That restlessness that you feel, that's that spark. Or the frustration that something more is possible. That part of your brain that says, there's more here. So it's not always the lightning bolt moment. Sometimes it's a nudge. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it just disturbs your comfort a little bit. Like in the French word is je ne sais quoi. I don't really know what it is, but there's something going on here. There's a little something happening. So I want to ask you something, and you don't have to put it in the chat. You don't have to put it out there, but what's tapping you on the shoulder? What's that thing that you keep saying to yourself, yeah, someday I'll write the book. Someday I'll buy the car. Someday I'll go on my honeymoon that we never went on, or someday I'll, whatever it is. Think about that. And there are a few reasons why that thing is still there. And the first one is fear, right? Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of outgrowing people. What fear says is not yet. One of my favorite songs, it's a Christian song, it's called Fear is a Liar. And that's exactly what fear is. Fear is that part of your brain that is just trying to protect you and saying, don't do that. Psst, don't do it because something bad could happen. But you know what else can happen? Something good. I think Sierra was just talking about that. The what if, right? Well, what if I try and I fail? What if you try and you succeed? What if you try and you get the most amazing outcome you never even could think of yourself? So fear is one of the things. So I want you to reflect back on that thing that is tapping you on your shoulder and ask yourself, what am I fearing? Is it fear that's holding me back? If it's not fear, it could be comfort. Comfort is seductive. Comfort is, I don't know, comfortable. It's a feeling that we're at stasis. I know what it feels like over here. I know I'm not sure what it feels like over there, but I know where it feels right now. And I like this. I like this chair. I like how my butt fits in this little divot in this chair because I've been here so long. And we tell ourselves, it's fine. It's good enough. I shouldn't complain. I'm grateful for what I have. And of course, we should be grateful. But knowing there's something else out there for you, knowing that there's something inside, this spark that's just a little bit of a flicker. And like Sierra said, you need the kindling, and then you throw in some kindling and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. When you rely on comfort, it can shrink you. And when you shrink, you're not taking advantage of all the wonderful things that life has to offer. So think, is comfort what's holding you back from that very thing that's been tapping you on the shoulder? And if it's not, it could be comparison. Comparison, I think, is one of the deadly sins. I don't know that it's written out there. I don't know what the 7 deadly sins are, but if it's not comparison, it should be. Again, somebody earlier, I think it was Michael Faber, was saying, we compare ourselves to people on social media, and he tries to keep it real on social media. But the people out there who are putting their reels up there and their lives look perfect. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I watched this reel the other day about this woman, and it was about, oh, look at my life as a mom, and I get up at 4:30 in the morning and like all this stuff. And I texted my sister and I said, why am I having big feelings about this reel? And she said, because that's not life. Like nobody's life is so perfect, right? So comparison holding you back? Are you doing the doom scroll and looking at other people and saying, wow, I don't look like that? Here's one example for me. I bought that stuff that goes under your eyes. It's supposed to take care of these like deep things under your eyes. And I'm like putting it on. I'm like, they look so good, but mine doesn't look like that, right? Are we thinking that person's further along than I am? Or he's better than I am? They're younger. Oh, they started earlier. Comparison not just steals your joy. And Deb talked about joy a little bit earlier too. Comparison doesn't just steal your joy. It delays action. It stops you in your tracks from doing the thing. And the spark inside you doesn't die from lack of talent. It dies from hesitation. A spark either starts a fire or it doesn't. Don't be the reason that it doesn't. Start that fire. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's taking your 9 to 5 off the table and becoming an entrepreneur. Maybe it's you've been doing something online, but you want a brick and mortar place. I don't know. What is it? What is it that you have been deferring? What is that dream you're deferring? There's a really simple 3-part framework. I'm trying to just keep this really simple to think about. How do you take action? How do you ignite the spark? And the first thing is you have to decide to do it. Stop thinking. Just do the damn thing. Decide. Stop asking, am I ready? Start asking, am I willing? Am I able? Because the decision will ignite the spark. The second one is, this is all of you on here who are entrepreneurs, you know this. You actually have to start before you feel ready. Michael Faber had to jump out of that plane before he felt ready. And that's why the guy said, we'll jump on 3. And at 2, they were out the side of the plane. Right? So courage is not confidence. Courage is action despite uncertainty. Some of the best things that you have done in life, you've done because you've said, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to stop thinking and I'm going to start doing. So you launch the idea. You have the conversation. You apply for the job. You create the class, your course. You share your voice at the summit. You write the first page of your book. You make the call to somebody who you want to work with. It's the small action that creates momentum. To use Sierra's words, the kindling. Starting before you're ready is the kindling. And the last thing, burn the boats, of course, metaphorically. Stop keeping the safe backup plan. Stop telling yourself you can quit at the first discomfort. And I'll tell you, I've been talking to my husband about this because I don't think my kids are used to being uncomfortable. And I think that's something that as a mom, I need to fix that, right? Because if we give up when we're uncomfortable, we will never reach the summit. We will never get to the peak. We will never achieve our goals. Commit publicly. Go out there and tell people, I'm writing a book. I'm starting a podcast. I'm doing this. I'm going to South Africa. Whatever it is, put it out there in the universe. And you know what happens? People sign on to your dream. And they say, okay, Lauren, how can I help you? Okay, Shyla, I'm here for it. I want to know. I know somebody who went to South Africa. Let me tell you about this. And it also creates accountability. I don't know about you guys, but I am so much better when I'm accountable to someone else than I am to myself, right? That's why things like Weight Watchers work, because you have to weigh yourself every week, or having a coach, or working out with a personal trainer, because they track your stuff and you know that you don't want to let them down. I'll let myself down 9 out of 10 times before I would let somebody else down. It's the sad truth. When retreat isn't an option, growth becomes inevitable. In the words of entrepreneurism, your why has to be big enough, right? When your why is big enough, you'll do anything. You'll run through a brick wall. If someone said to you, you have to do this or your house is going to be taken away, you'll do whatever you need to do, right? So get rid of those things that are telling you, just be safe. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, because it will. The things will happen. Ignite the fire. So what happens when you don't? Your idea fades. The window may close. The regret will grow. Oh, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Someone else will build what you were meant to build. So 1 year from now, what will hurt you more? Trying and failing, or never trying at all? And I'm working with a guy right now, a coach helping me with my sales, because that's something that in my own business I struggle with, that whole sales thing and asking and all that. And he said, every no gets you closer to a yes, right? You have to see the no's as giving you information on what you're offering and what people want. So I don't even think it's trying and failing. It's just trying and learning. You're learning what works. You're learning what doesn't work. So there are two futures in front of each and every one of us. There's the safe, unchanged, comfortable, smaller future, or there's the expanded, challenged, alive future. So I want you to reflect on a second. Now, I know you have a pen from before, and shout out to Sierra. I had to go in my purse and find a pen, and I wrote everything on the back of an envelope. I don't know about anybody else, but it was on the back of a credit card envelope. But think about this. What spark have you been ignoring? What's that thing that's been tapping you on the shoulder or whispering in your ear or saying, Justin, psst, you want to do that. Tish, you've been thinking about it. Meredith, what about you? What have you been postponing? What's that thing you've been wanting to do and you just keep pushing it off? And then I want you to say to yourself or write down or make a note, what's one move you can make this week toward that spark? Putting some kindling on that spark so that you can ignite that fire. Remember earlier I said there are a couple words in the English language that I think are dangerous. There's a couple phrases. One is, we've always done things this way. I hate that phrase. Anybody who's in coaching or in corporate or whatever, yes, well, we've always done things that way. That's why we have what we have. But again, earlier I said, it's someday. The time is not someday. The time is not when you're fearless. The time is not when everything aligns. The time is now, because you are here. You are thinking of it. Your body, your mind, your soul wants it. It's time. It's time to birth that idea. It's time to do whatever it is that you've been putting off. Starting a family, starting a business, buying a house, whatever it is. Stop putting it off. The time is now. And earlier, see, this all comes together. It's crazy. Earlier, we were talking about both Michael and Justin, I think. We're talking about, not this Justin, no, Jeremy. We're talking about historical leaders, right? History doesn't remember the people who waited. It remembers the people who moved. I live in Rochester, New York, and far close to here was the Seneca Women's Convention where women earned the right to vote, right? Nobody talks about the women who came before Susan B. Anthony who were just drinking tea, complaining about not having the right to vote. They talk about Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, the women who put one foot in front of the other and said, this shit's got to end, man. Why don't we have a right to vote? My brother's a doofus and he gets a right to vote and I don't. So history doesn't remember the people who waited. It remembers the people who moved. I invite you all to take one action step the next day or two to move toward that dream that you've deferred. Feel the spark, see the spark, throw some kindling on it, and enjoy how your life takes off. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Donna. Thank you for pulling that all together. And, starting from day one with Ashley to coming up to our heavy hitters coming up all the way through the summit. All of you are heavy hitters. And this has absolutely been beautiful how this all falls together. When I intentionally place each speaker throughout the summit, I always pray before every summit, any framework gets put together, any speaker lineup gets put together. and I asked God to guide me where to put these names. I didn't do this intentionally. I just followed the Spirit. I followed where the name popped into my head, and I said, Dr. Donna needs to go there. Deb Rossman needs to go there. Ashley needs to open up here, and all this stuff. And I love how beautiful these last 2 days have unfolded. And Donna, that was absolutely incredible, because you don't want to wait until tomorrow, folks. Trust me on this, okay? Before I hand this over to the Zoom room, we are not guaranteed of tomorrow. A genetic disorder that took my brother. I live with that every single day, that it could rupture at any time. But I don't let that slow me down. I keep doing what I'm doing. I built this movement so all of us who have lost somebody that we love and care about can come in here and share the stories about that. To get incredible powerhouse speakers like Dr. Donna said, the time is now to act. My suicide attempt in 2007, the brain injury that nearly claimed my life. We need to act right now. The spark is lit. Now we need to get it into a bonfire and build that bonfire that it never goes out, and act now. Okay? Not waiting until tomorrow. With that being said, Dr. Donna, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for joining us, and thank you for pouring into us. I will be reaching out again because you are amazing. And I'm going to hand this over to my brother, James. Take it away, brother.
Well, hello, Dr. Donna. That
You guys
whole
can call me,
thing,
my friends call me DMC, so feel free to just call
DMC,
me.
yo, all right, DMC, got it. If I put run before it, I apologize. It'll be the corniest joke I ever today.
All good.
But no, it's so insightful. Like, and I don't say this in any type of way other than brilliant, but the simplicity of your message, and you made sure to make it simple. You had said that as you were talking. The simplicity of your message is incredible, because simplicity is what we need to be powerful. We don't need to make things sound better than what they actually are. We just need to say what it is and do the thing that we want to do, and don't overcomplicate it, because that stops a lot of us. I really appreciate you just being completely open to that and explaining that today. So thank you.
Thank you for that, James. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, DMC. I'm going to get used to that.
I was going to say thank you for the opportunity. It was really, it's always a pleasure to be here with all these beautiful, amazing, radiant souls and people. And thank you.
You're very welcome. What you got for us, Deb?
DMC, love you so much. Oh my God. December, I'm still buzzing off of your talk from December, and this is gonna coast me into our next one in April. You are a treasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really, it's an honor to be among such amazing people. So thank you.
Thank you, Deb, for that. That was absolutely beautiful. You are always, integral in this. And Donna, you are too. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues here right now. But you're absolutely always welcome on the mountain with us. And, Deb, same thing. Absolutely love you. Thank you, DMC. It's like MC, like we all scream at James because he has a booming voice. But now with the DMC, it's going to be fun to use that one. All right, y'all, we got 3 more speakers coming up. And our next one is a beautiful soul that has become more than just a friend. She has become a younger sister. She has a tendency to love to light the fire under a lot of people. She likes the tea. She likes to poke. She likes to have fun. And that was the one thing when I first met this young lady in Nashville, Tennessee back in 2025. And I told that story earlier on in the summit. Sierra Grana is an amazing soul, an amazing heart. And as we have all seen throughout the last 2 days, we've seen many Sierra running around the house, and maybe with her being a part of all these summits, virtual summits, you might have a little trainee in training right now, watching her mama do her thing. So it's an absolute privilege to always have you with us, Sierra, and can't wait to see what you'll be bringing to the mountain. And the summit's yours.
All right, David, I'm going to take the wise words from Craig and not say thank you. I'm going to say, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, sorry, I had to start us off with an F-bomb. You know me. I'm not someone that writes out speeches, but yesterday, if you don't know me, I'm a medium and a psychic, if you want to call me that. I channel spirit. And when I do any of my talks, I am channeling spirit. But last night, as I was sitting listening to Meredith and everybody else talking, these words just poured out of me. And I'm going to share some of them with you. And then I'm going to get into what I always do on this is maybe pass along some readings to you guys. Mediumship is connecting you with your loved ones. Doesn't always work, especially when I'm tired, but I'm going to do my best. If not, I can give you guys some insights and intuitive guidance if you like. So I'm going to read a little bit from my speech, which tells a little bit about my story, but also really listen to the words because I had to go back and read this. And last night I read it to my almost 14-year-old daughter, and she bawled her eyes out and hugged me so tight and cried in my arms. She hasn't let me hold her like that in probably 2 or 3 years. So the words are just healing, and they're not mine. So I want you to know that there's pieces of me in this, but they're not my words. So after I was listening to Meredith, and she reminded me of this book as she was talking, was something called The Runaway Bunny. I don't know if you guys have read that, but it was one of my most favorite books when I was younger. Probably still is one of my most favorite books because I don't like to read. At least I'm a higher reading level than Michael Faber, though. But sorry, I had to pick on him once. At its core, the story is about a little bunny who insists he will run away. He imagines transforming into a fish, a bird, a sailboat, and a mountain flower. He pushes the limits of imagination in an attempt to escape. And every single time, the mother responds with one steady truth. If you run away, I will run after you. Not to control him, not to trap him, but to love him. This book is a masterclass in unconditional love. The bunny tests boundaries the way all of us do. We push, we rebel, we try on identities. We ask, what if I leave? What if I become something else? What if I go somewhere you can't follow? And that question, when I wrote that down, that hit me so hard. What if I go somewhere you can't follow? Almost 4 years ago, my daughter went somewhere where I couldn't follow her. So I shared my story on the past couple of summits, how I died in an elevator. I had that choice. I could have gone and followed her, but I was told it's not my time, and I came back here. I chose to come back for my older 2 children because I knew my story wasn't complete. But how do you forgive God for sending you back here with a piece of your heart that was taken away? As I continue to grieve my daughter, I wonder what she would look like, how her voice would sound, and what buttons she would push. As you guys have seen, my youngest daughter has been on these calls, like David mentioned. I was pregnant with her about 5 months after my miscarriage. I lost my daughter at 12 weeks pregnant. And I see glimpses of her. And a few weeks ago, she's 2.5, and she told us, she woke up from a dream and said, "Mama, a butterfly kissed me on my cheek." And our daughter Nevaeh, we always associate her with butterflies. And she told us and continued to tell us that story. And I knew it was her sister. And there's a quote from the show, This Is Us. I'm a really big fan of that show. It says, "If something makes you sad when it ends, it must have been pretty wonderful when it was happening. But what happens when something barely happens or barely begins?" I'm a prophetic vision and a prophetic dreamer. So when I was 13, I dreamt of all 3 of my children. I knew my older 2 was an older girl and an older boy. And then I would be holding a baby, and I could see, the father of my children in the doorway, and I was in a hospital bed holding my baby. So when it came true that I was pregnant after 7 years of wanting a 3rd baby, actually 22 years, I should say, because I was about 13. I didn't see the miscarriage coming. But there was a moment, I think all mothers know. We know when that baby's not there, because we know when the baby is there, and we do connect. I didn't see that coming. And that was in August 2022. We had just packed up everything we had and moved to South Carolina. So I didn't know anybody. We didn't have any support. And I felt like a failure, because I was like, how can I be the psychic who sees all these things and knows what the future holds? But I didn't see this coming. And I felt so disconnected to my own womb and my own oracle. And I remember how happy I was when I got pregnant. Like, that was just the worst feeling when it went away. And then when I got pregnant again, I lived in so much fear and so much hatred for God, because I was like, I can't even enjoy this, right? I can't even enjoy her. And I did some hypnotherapy, and I did some regression into the trauma of that, because PTSD happens, as you guys know. And I was able to connect with my daughter and really start to feel joy again, which is something I hadn't felt in a while. And right now I'm going through a divorce as well. So I just like, what is all these things? What are all these things happening? And it's making me question my faith a lot. And I'm redefining what faith means to me. Like, again, I just keep saying, why is God doing this to me? But I've been leaning into faith more, which I used to run away like the bunny. But I'm being more like the mom, right? I'm being more gentle with myself. The bunny's mother doesn't argue. She doesn't shame. She doesn't panic. She simply matches him. If he becomes a fish, she becomes the fisherman. If he becomes a bird, she becomes the tree. If he becomes a flower, she becomes the gardener. Her love adapts. It evolves. It meets him wherever he goes. And then I realized that God was doing the same for me. My world would match how I was feeling. It would match who I am becoming. And I am becoming a version of myself that trusts and surrenders. God's love chases without suffocating. God's love pursues without possession. God's love says, you are free and I am still here. In a world where many of us grew up believing love was conditional, based on behavior, achievement, or compliance, the Runaway Bunny offers something radical. It tells children, you can test the edges, you can imagine leaving, you can explore independence, and you will still be loved. For parents, it's a reminder that security does not come from control. It comes from consistency. For leaders, it's a metaphor. People thrive when they know they can stretch without losing belonging. For adults healing their inner child, it's an invitation to ask, what would it feel like to be loved like that? Not chased to be corrected, but pursued to be held. In the end, the bunny doesn't actually run away. He stays. Not because he's forced, but because he feels safe. And that's the quiet genius of this story. When love is steady enough, freedom doesn't threaten it. It strengthens it. One of the phrases that I've been working through for the past year or so within my own healing journey is, what if you stay? And I didn't really know what that meant. What if I stay? As I've been exploring it, I'm realizing it's what if I stay grounded in my body? What if I stay in pursuit of everything that I've ever wanted, even though the plans have changed? What if I stay means not abandoning myself? Because home is you, and you can't run from that. I heard a lot of sad stories yesterday and today, and a few laughs in between, a few nerdy stories from Michael. But sorry, just I see his face and I have to tell a joke or something. I think it shows, though, how much love there actually is in this world, how we all chose to show up and be here for each other. Over 40 speakers. I think we just don't know what love looks like when we're seeking it, but this here is love. All of us being here, I'm consistently, giving feedback and pouring into people, and I, for the past 3 years, especially the past year, have shut my heart down completely, with my divorce and with the miscarriage. My heart was like ripped into shreds, right? It was busted open. But what I've learned is that, oh my God, what I've learned is that God gives you the heart that you need, but he also gives you people that will have a matching heart. Just like the mother matched her son, you're going to have your match. There's going to be people. It could be many people that are going to match your heart. And my heart is pure, loving, kind, and honest. And as a grieving mother, I've learned that this version of me is always going to be this version. I will never stop grieving my daughter. But I don't need to hold on to the sadness, and I don't need to hold on to like the anger. I just get to hold on to the version that I wanted her to be. And there's a song by James Blunt called The Girl That Never Was. And this is where my daughter started crying, because this was a really important moment in our life that really made me believe in God again. Last year we were driving from South Carolina to Texas, and I was pulling our RV trailer, and we were in Louisiana. And this song came on. We had heard it before, and the first time we heard it, we cried our eyes out. But this time it came on as we were driving down the highway, and it was really windy out. And the song came on, and images of my daughter flashed in my head. So it was me, my two girls, and my two dogs in the car. My best friend Christina and my son were in my car driving, and my ex-husband was in the moving truck. So somehow we all split up on the highway, and an 18-wheeler comes flying by me, and the RV starts to fishtail. And we're going downhill, and there's a bridge that's coming up, but there's almost like a way that if we were going left, we were going to go off the bridge, which is exactly where we were heading to. And it would have been a drop, and we would have died. And I remember trying to hold the steering wheel, just steady the steering wheel, because it was rocking like crazy. And I just turned it with everything I had to the right as hard as I could. And I just remember saying, this is not how I die. And somehow we were lifted up and placed down gently about an inch from going off the other side. And the RV slammed into the back where my son would have been sitting if he was in the car with us. And the RV fell on its side, and we just came to a stop. There was about 100 cars around us right before this happened, but for some reason, there was no cars near us when it was a single car accident. Nobody got hurt, and we walked away without a scratch on us. And the guy that came, the tow truck that came to pick it up, he goes, how the fuck did you do that? I've seen seasoned drivers that wouldn't know what to do. I said, I didn't do anything. God did that. And he said, you're right, because that would have never happened. And as we crashed, right, as we came to a stop, the car was still on, the songs were still playing. And the next song was also by James Blunt, called Save a Life. And I'm going to share the lyrics. It says, why won't you give me a sign? Let me throw you a rope. I'm not saving a soul, I'm just saving a life. But you just keep swimming. Why don't you want to survive? Are you all out of hope? I'm not saving a soul, I'm just saving a life. But you just keep swimming. I was in a lifeboat. You were out in the deep. I wanted to help, but there's an ocean between. And in that moment, that's when I knew that I was running from God, right? I was pushing God away when he was just trying to save my life. It's on me to save my soul, right? And as a medium, I'm usually talking to dead people all the time. Like all of your people have been here all day, talking my ear off. So a long time I took it as a curse. I thought I was told it was a curse, right? This was evil work. You shouldn't be doing this. And I've been doing this publicly for 6 years. And I'm finally understanding the blessing and the gift that I have, the amount of people I have been able to impact and help, whether it's giving them closure or clarity or just hope. I've learned that this means that God trusts me to be a messenger, and I need to match him. I can't shut this off. I tried. So I would like to open this up to people if you guys are comfortable and want to get a reading in some way. Sometimes it'll be spirit coming through. It's always spirit coming through. It's either going to be our loved ones or it's going to be God. So if anyone is open, Martha's raising her hand. Dave, how am I doing on time?
You got about 8 minutes, so we can maybe take 2 or 3.
Martha, hand was up first. All right. Do I have permission to go into your field? You gotta unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna pull cards for you.
Mm.
All right. You got lead, joy, and self-love. And what I'm hearing is, I mean, you're on the right path. I think there is some initiatives where you need to be putting yourself first a little bit more than you have been. And you can't save everybody. You need to look inward, because there are some things that there are some codes within your body that need to be explored, and they're going to be explored as you move forward. But move your body more. Like get your body moving, because your hips are really tight and they're like showing where your energy is off balance.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. DMC coming your way. Do I have permission to go in your field? Has your mother crossed over? All right, I have a woman coming through. Actually, it's kind of hard when there's a lot of people on here and I wasn't prepared to do readings because I wasn't going to do that. But I have a woman coming through. Has your dad's mother passed away? I don't know where you went. Dad's mother? Okay. I just had to get clearer with her. She's showing me, as weird as this sounds, like, but it's because I understand it. Showing the movie Anchorman, where he's like, "How now, brown cow," and she's saying like, enunciate the words when you speak, and move really slowly, because there's going to be like, there's power in the words that you say, right? But when you're like enunciating the words in your speech, it's going to hit people differently. And she's like, "I'm not judging. I just want her to know like how powerful her voice is and how powerful she is to become." But you got celebrate, Mother Nature, balance, and stillness. And when I look at these cards, it's all about your energy coming into alignment with itself. And again, that speaking and enunciating, because like when you're speaking the words, you're speaking spells within your subconscious. So be careful of like what you're saying, because you're going to start to create that balance, and definitely getting outside and doing this. Like I see almost like humming with the birds. Like, I don't know if you do that, but like getting out there and like talking and talking, because your voice is so healing. It really has a lot of power within it. And there's a dog coming through. Did you have a dog that's passed? Okay. They're just letting you know that the dog's there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Travis, do I have permission to go in your field? Where'd it go? Yes? Was that a yes?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You're good. Travis, you're not ready to hear from the people on the other side, but they're cheering for you, and they're one of them, like, I hear like fucks with your keys. I don't know if they misplaced them on you, or every time you're looking for your keys, know that they're fucking with you. Like they're just constantly misplacing your keys. Like it's not you, you're not going crazy. They're literally moving them on you. But you got grace, self-love, and inner child. And that's what like is the parts that you're going to start to heal over the next 6 months. By giving yourself grace and really, really loving on yourself, that inner child's going to start to heal. And then they're going to be ready to give you more messages. They're going to come to you in your dreams. They already do that, but it's almost like you wake up and you don't remember them. But when they do come in your dreams, you're going to actually like feel them a little bit more when you're sleeping. As weird as that sounds. Anyone else?
You know, the crazy thing is I can't find my key right now as it is anyway. Thank you.
You're welcome. They won't tell me where it is, so good luck to you. It's teaching you patience is what they're saying.
We're going to cap it on that, Sierra,
Okay.
just for time's
Yeah,
sake.
no, you're good.
But I'd love to open it up to anybody, maybe 2 or 3 amazing souls here to pour into Sierra really quick, so we can move into our next speaker.
Me, please.
Go ahead, Megan. Then Deb.
You're
James.
amazing, and I haven't heard you speak in a while, and you I connected so much with a lot of what you said because I am struggling with a lot of questions right now. And I'm able, I appreciate a lot of what you said giving me a lot of guidance. I wanted you to know I felt what you put your time into sharing with us. So I love you and thank you.
Love you too.
Thank you, Megan. Lauren, what you got?
Well, we all know how much I love my girl Sierra. I had to get a drink just for hers because I have been fortunate enough to be friends with her for 15 years. And I have lived through a lot of these experiences with her that she spoke about. But the way you delivered today, like, I'm just so proud of you. You poured your heart, you were vulnerable, and you're going to get all the love you deserve.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Don't cry.
Oh.
Thanks, Lauren. Tish, what do you got for us?
Sierra is one of the most amazing women, and she swears like a sailor. She my brother-in-law who I lost, and I just love her to pieces. And her speaking is so calming and reassuring, and look at her, it just, you feel loved, and she has helped me tremendously. I miss talking with her, and instead of moving closer to me, she's moving closer to others, so I will not be offended.
I love you, Tish. Thank you.
The most precious mom, watching her take care of her children. I don't have children, but my animals, I take care of my animals as if they are children, and I so appreciate watching mothers with their children. And Sierra, it is a joy to watch you and to witness your speaking and all the things that you are doing and going to be doing. Love you, dear.
Thank you, Tish. That was absolutely beautiful, and I second that. She is an amazing soul. Go ahead, Allegra, and then we'll move on to our next speaker.
Sierra, I just have to tell you, I'm so proud of you from the moment that I met you. You have such a soothing, calming, divine, feminine energy that is comforting for me personally. And I just wanted to express that to you. Thank you so much for being you, because you do make a huge difference in my life.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness gracious, great balls of fire, y'all. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Each and every one of you have a very special place there. To the new ones, welcome to the family. I always have a saying, I'm going to retire this saying after this summit, and that is, the Vravlik is like a fungus, and once you get to know me, you can never get rid of me. And so this will be the last official time I use that saying. I'm going to have to come up with something new, because Michael and James' face is pretty entertaining, but I'm not going to let them unmute because it was a saying I always used when I was younger, and I think it's time to retire it. So, Sierra, I love you. I know you got a lot of amazing things going on in your life right now that is just blowing up your heart, and that just makes me really excited for you and what the future is looking like for you, moving back home and with everything else going on. I'm just so proud of you and can't wait to see what the future looks like, and just keep doing you. And thank you for coming to the mountain. Thank you for coming to the summit. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we talk about heavy hitters and we talk about sculptures. I've said this before in the past when I've introduced this man, because he is built like a sculpture. This man is the definition of determination, of resilience, and dedication. A lot of people tease him because he doesn't smile, but I've seen several smiles when his significant other is with him while we were all on the cruise. And I think I also saw him dress up once where he was in a t-shirt and his towel and his basketball shorts. But this man is a fierce warrior, a man with a heart of gold. And his story is absolutely off the charts. Incredible. It shakes mountains. It moves movements. And he is such a powerhouse. And I am truly grateful that I can call him a brother. And I agree, Travis, he is the GOAT. He is one of the 3 GOATs in our family. So with that being said, Mr. Justin Danforth, the summit is yours.
Thank you. Once again, David, you pulled it off, man. And it gets better and better every time. And I appreciate you and everybody who's shown up and showed out. Everybody's doing an incredible job. Thanks for being here. So there's only so many ways to say the same thing, right? It's just arrangement of words. Like everything's already been said. It's just how we place the words and how we deliver it. So a lot of what I'm going to say, you've probably already heard, but I'm going to say it again. So most of us, if not almost all of us, are sitting on something right now, whether it's an idea, a calling, business venture, reconciliation, a health transformation, whether it's a move you need to make, and you keep telling yourself, soon I'll do it. Soon will be the time. And that either the negative self-talk or that voice that you keep negotiating with will be and is the slowest killer of your potential. So the ignite the spark. David labeled this ignite the spark. You can't ignite the spark when things feel safe and you're comfortable, right? You ignite the spark when you're tired of being the version of yourself that you've been tolerating for this long. So the time is now is not just a slogan, it's a warning. It should be even more evident if you just look around in the world today. If it ain't clear that the time is now for you to make the move that you need to make, honestly, the time was yesterday. But since you didn't do it and you sat on your butt, the time is more so than ever now. And the time don't care about your feelings. It don't care about your headache and your tiredness. It's going to move whether you move or not. So whether you're waiting for clarity or you're waiting for confidence or you're waiting for permission, just move, man. Just get off your butt. And I'm sure this has already been said. Somebody actually just said it recently. But confidence follows movement. Fire follows friction. And your destiny follows decision, right? Most would, if not all, would agree that the decisions we make today scope and shape where, who, and what we become tomorrow. So your destiny follows decision. Yeah. And it's not, we don't need more of the same Facebook posts and YouTube trainings or podcasts or another planner or another January 1st. But we got to ignite that spark, right? We need that spark. Because I'm going to say it like this. The fuel, you are the fuel, but you need to ignite the spark. And you lose it when you stop believing that you can change. You lose it when you get comfortable with average. And you lose it when you tell yourself, I'll start next week or soon. And one day you wake up and realize that fire you used to feel is gone. And tonight is not about hype, it's about ignition. And the ignition doesn't require gas, it requires decision. So I need everybody who's listening, who's watching, to make the decision that you know you need to make. I don't know the decision you need to make. You know the decision you need to make. You wake up with that decision every day. You face yourself in the mirror every day. Or you duck it, you hide it, you run from it. Most of you already, if not all of you, already know my story, right? So while working on myself throughout my prison sentence, through reading and training and rebuilding my mindset, here's what most people never understood. That personal growth inside of prison is theory until you prepare for reality. A lot of people in this outside world don't get that. That's why most of the people out here bet against us. Yeah, he's just doing that because he's in prison. Oh, he's just saying that because he's in prison. Oh, he's following religion now because he's in prison. When he gets out, we'll see what he does. 90% of my family members bet against me. Guess how many lost that bet? 90%. Two years prior to my release, I stopped dreaming about freedom and I started preparing for it. And without going in all the in depth and detail, it was a decision to prepare, to build structure, to acquire the necessities and skill building and the systems to walk out ready, not hopeful. Because there's so many dudes I was face to face with, locked up with, that waited till they were 90 days out from being released. After doing years upon years, they waited till their last 90 days to decide to start planning for what they were going to do when they got out. Guess how many of those returned? See, when I walked out of those gates, people thought I was lucky. They thought it worked out. Man, wow. It didn't work out. It was worked for. And that's the understanding. That understanding is something that changed everything. See, that spark don't die because life is hard. It dies because we wait and we procrastinate. And we wait till we're ready, and we wait till we feel better, and we wait till we're confident, and we wait for it to be warm because it's too cold right now. It's too cold, and whatever. We wait for the right season. But that spark don't wait. Sparks don't wait, they're struck. What do you do with a match? You strike it. What do you do with a lighter? You strike it. So if you want to ignite the spark, I would challenge you to do these three things. First, eliminate one thing that's dulling your edge. Most of us are trapped in an energy loop. A lot of it is distraction. Most of it's a bad habit. A lot of it could be an excuse or even the environment. You know what it is. I don't need to know what it is. You got to live with that. Eliminate that one thing that is dulling your edge. Sparks don't survive in wet wood. Secondly, build a non-negotiable in your daily life. Not a goal, but a standard. Something that you do whether you feel like it or not. See, sparks turn into fire through repetition. You ever try to light a fire and had to keep striking the match, keep striking the match, keep striking the match? Third, put yourself in a position where you can't hide anymore. Tell someone about your commitment. Post it, invest in it. Write it on your forehead, I don't care. Attach a consequence to it. Fire grows when exposed to oxygen. That's how ignition happens. With removal, with structure, with exposure. Sparks don't build bonfires, they start flames. Flames that grow because someone protects them. And if you protect your spark long enough, it's going to spread. Your family's going to see it. Your circle's going to feel it. Your community's going to feel it. And that's how movements start. Everybody here wants to either make a movement, start a movement, or be part of one. Because we all want to have a deeper impact on the world. So I'm gonna leave you with this. The spark you're looking for, it's not out there. It's under your hesitation, your fear, your distraction, your comfort. And tonight you either leave with it lit or you leave exactly the same. But if you decide right now that you're done waiting, if you decide you're done waiting, that average is no longer acceptable, and you decide that your excuses expire tonight, that shift will happen. And sparks don't just change rooms, they change atmospheres. And when enough individuals ignite at once, that's a movement. That's a mountain summit. So if the time is now, don't clap politely. Stand up in your own life. Move in your own direction. Light something that refused to go out. Because when you ignite your spark, you don't just change your future. You give hope permission to light it. You give hope to people to light theirs. And that's how movements are made. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for sharing that last piece about getting uncomfortable and stepping out and quit making the excuses. I am the king of excuses, and I've known that for a long time in my life. And one thing I always love about you, Justin, is, the first time I met you at the men's retreat, and once we got to know each other, there was no beating around the bush with you. And I absolutely love that about you. And I surrounded myself with men like Justin and Michael and James and Austin and the other man and Javi. Oh man, gotta love that Javi, right? He's such an amazing soul. And I surrounded myself around with those men because they pushed me and they challenged me. When I wanted to give up, they wouldn't let me. And Justin's at the top of that list because he's no beat around the bush, no bullshit guy, and I love that about him. So Justin, brother, I love you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the near future here. I know you guys are going to have an amazing time next month down in Orlando. Thank you for always crushing it like you do. Like Michael Faber said, there was one time that Justin Danforth punched a mountain and it turned into pebbles. So thank you for what you do, brother. And going to hand it over to the Zoom room. James, go ahead. I think you were first.
Justin, my legendary brother, it's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to see you show up, show out. And I love that you don't pull punches, you throw them. You say exactly what needs to be said, man, and you say it only in the way that you need to. And man, you keep getting better, dude. So I just say much respect, much love. I'm glad to see you here.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I don't see Megan, Donna.
I didn't have anything planned. I love you, but especially everything you said tonight was such a driving force about presence. And that was something that I just kept thinking about. You didn't even have to say it. It was just all about presence. And so thank you for that. And it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Donna.
I just love how, first of all, Justin, it's nice to meet you. I have not met you before, but I just love how you just cut right through the bullshit. It's like, do something, make a non-negotiable every day, and just do it. And we're our own worst enemies sometimes about making excuses, and made me laugh when you said it's too cold today, because there are days it's too cold that I say I don't want to go to the gym, but I need to do that. So thank you for pointing out my own bullshit. And I appreciated the tone of your talk. It was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, DMC. Love that. Thank you for pouring into Justin. What do you got, Mary?
Justin, hi, right on time. Oh my God, I needed to hear all of that. Ignition requires decision. I love your word choices, dude. You poured into me. Excuses expire tonight. and putting myself in a position I cannot hide anymore. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you and much love. Miss
Thank
you.
Go ahead, Ash.
Listen, this is just love your way, and I just want you to know the impact that you're making without, because I only see you a couple times a year and in person, right? And then we're in each other's comments and stuff, but you've made an impact on me because I was on my BS, right? And then I saw you in the Carolinas for Unbound, and we had a conversation, and I now wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm ready to go and like get after it. And I think about you pretty consistently on the days that I'm like, oh, I don't have to wake up that early today. No, like get your ass out of bed because Justin is watching, but he's not watching, right? So I just want to let you know that you are making an impact just by the words that you speak and you pour into us. So thank you, friend, always.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. Absolutely love that. Justin, seriously, brother. I love your realness and just you, man. I mean, getting to spend a week with you on the cruise ship was awesome because it was quite a while since the last time you and I got to spend some time together. And, it's crazy right now. All the emotions are roaring in from today. And thinking about Joey and seeing all of you guys here. Always knowing. Wasn't planning on this, but always knowing. Going through the shit and having you guys is why I do this. So that no one ever has to feel alone. There've been things in life that happen, and what you guys did the last 2 days, I think this is the most impactful one that's hit me, and I don't know why. It's going to take me a little while to figure it out. But Justin, you and I've had conversations that go deep, and when people try to tear me down, you're always there, man. And I love you. So we got to move to our next speaker, Deb, and we can wrap on that with our at the end. But I want to just give each and every one of you, there's that saying, flowers. And, I've sucked at that in the last year. I want to give each and every one of you your flowers, to the past mountaineers and to today in the last 2 days. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for bringing Joey forward again. I love you guys. And Justin, thank you for being you and bringing the heat. And you're amazing, brother. And here we are, everybody. I gotta go get my makeup cleaned up. Just kidding. I never know how these things are going to unfold, and my intention is to always be the rock. That's how I've always been. But in the last year, I've been challenged to let others come help me. And you guys have done that. And the next guy coming up is the epitome of service, is the epitome of love. And he has a booming voice. First time I met this guy was Nashville 2024. Let's go, Michael. Dun, 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 on the tables for 2 or 3 straight days. And he never gave up. And that energy was off the charts, incredible. And having James bringing this home, getting us to the mountaintop, and to see the beauty of the summit is a beautiful thing. And we'll get to spend some time on the summit, but that's not where the work ends. There's more mountains to climb. There's more base camps, excuse me, to enter. And this guy's going to get it done. So with that being said, second time back on the mountain, second time making the climb, is Mr. James Mueller. The summit is yours, brother.
First and foremost, I'm going to correct you on one thing. The summit's not mine, it's ours. And I didn't get us here, you did. And I want to take a second to have everybody in this room acknowledge that you did this. You put this on. You ran this. You got everybody together. You got us moving. You got us organized. You created this. You inspired this, and you continue to grow each and every event. So I want to give you your flowers, my brother. I love you, man. I've watched these grow. I've watched these get better. I've watched the people in the room. I've watched the impact. I've watched the spread. But you and Austin, you guys are legendary for doing this. You don't have to do this. You choose to do this. And a lot of people are getting impacted by that. And so I want you to understand what you're doing is incredible. And the legacy of anyone who has lost anybody, if you bring it to this summit, if you bring it to David, he's going to take amazing care of it. And I say that because I didn't make the first few, even though he invited me. He called me on the last one and said, you have to be at this one. And I said, okay, what do you need me to talk about? The one thing I don't want to talk about. Okay, cool. And we went how that went. And the day after that event was done, he called me up again and he went, all right, I need you at the next one. I'm like, what do you want me to talk about? He's like, whatever you want. I was like, okay, I have more freedom and flexibility for this. Let's do this. So first and foremost, thank you very much. And every single one of you that are here right now, thank you for being here. You could be anywhere. You really could be anywhere. You could be doing anything. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions to start off. So like I said, David, thank you. Austin, thank you. Thank you guys for showing up. I want to thank my wife who just popped in the Zoom room. If anybody sees Mrs. Batman, that's her. And she's probably shaking her head right now. I want to thank her because without her, I wouldn't be here. The best Mueller. That's right, Michael. The best Mueller. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to do something a little bit different. So many speakers have inspired and impacted in so many different ways about grief, about igniting a spark, about the time being now. So I'm probably not going to say anything original, but what I want to say is meaningful. So if you hear it repeated, just know it's because it's been impacted to me over the last couple of days. And what I want to do is I want to tell a story, and it's a story that actually happened recently. And then I can't even call it a story. It's a real life event. And that real life event that I experienced will turn my experience into our experience and our experience into what's next. And I can tell you there's been a common thread with every single speaker that has shown up today, every single person who has commented, every single person who has given feedback or has wished or talked about anything that's been on their mind. There's a reason why we're here. We're faced with it. It's a word that we know, but we seldom talk about it. And it's called mortality. Mortality. We're here because of mortality. And if you don't know the definition of mortality, it's basically the state of being subject to death. And I'm putting something in the comments for the Zoomies. Zoomies, it's a fire emoji. Every time something resonates, I want you to do me a favor. Just hit it for me. I just want to know. It doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be later. But if something hits you, please put that in the chat. Let me know that you're still with me. So mortality is the state of being subject to death. Guess what? Every human being alive is subject to this. In my experience of life, which hasn't been all that long, I can tell you there are three major variables that are in play that always force us to bring mortality to the forefront of our minds. One is the loss of a loved one or family member or somebody that meant something to us. Two is a life-threatening medical challenge or a life-threatening medical situation. And three is a catastrophic event or an emergency. Those three things put how fragile we really are to the forefront of our brain. Those things that we experience or the things that happen, it puts us in a position and in a situation that we don't always think about or think. We don't really know what matters until it matters. So let me rewind the clock. May 3rd, 2025, last year. It is a Saturday morning. I wake up. I'm hanging out with my wife. I film weddings predominantly at this time. So I have a wedding that I have to go to. And as I go to this wedding, I get my gear. I throw the stuff in the car and I'm driving and I get down there. And it's May 3rd in New Jersey. So it's not really super hot. It's not really super warm. It's ideal weather. It's nice. If anybody knows me, Mr. David has said, you know, I have a booming voice. I have a personality, to which some of you might know. Some of you might know my other ones. but we'll get into that as we go, right? So I meet the bride and groom. We're getting things situated. I'm vibing with the photographer well. We do the first look. Everything's good to go. We're set up, and we're an hour before go time, which is the ceremony. And at that point, I move my stuff, which is a backpack. I walk over to the ceremony site. I start setting up my additional cameras. I start getting things situated. I'm looking. I'm down the center aisle, and I'm filming what we call B-roll so I could set up the perfect scene for the perfect shot. And as I'm doing that, I stop for an instant, and I get lightheaded. And as I get lightheaded, my chest starts to get a little fluttery, and my Apple Watch ticks. And it says, high heart rate notification, 140, recommend you sit down. Never had that before. I didn't know Apple Watches were cool for heart rate. So I was like, all right, let's check this out. Okay. I was like, all right, I'm running around. I'm a little overheated. I went back into the building. I got some ice water. I cooled off, took about 10 minutes, went back out, set up the ceremony. Ceremony, knocked it out of the park. I didn't knock anybody over. That was an important thing. We're going back and forth. Film, got the kiss shot, which I think if all of us have been at a wedding, it's probably the most important thing that you don't want to miss. So I filmed the shot. I filmed them setting up, and everybody goes in the cocktail hour, and they're in cocktail hour. And I grab my stuff and I run up to the reception hall, which is on the second floor of a barn. And if anybody's in a barn, it gets hot. So I go up to the second floor of a barn. I'm setting up my stuff. We're getting ready. We'll fast forward to right before the introductions. The DJ is starting to welcome everybody, get the energy up because he didn't ask me to. I don't know why. I guess he learned his lesson. But as the intros were starting, I got lightheaded. And instead of getting fluttery, my heart was pounding out of my chest. And within 15 seconds, my Apple iWatch went off and it said high heart rate notification, 180 beats per minute. Recommend you sit down, more or less. I don't know if you have a career or a event space or what you do in life, but there are certain times where you just don't get do-overs, and filming a wedding is one of those times. I don't have an assistant with me. I'm solo because I'm me. And I'm in this part, and I realize that I have to figure out how to maneuver myself, and every breathing exercise that I know to calm myself down isn't working. So I make it through introductions, I make it through first dance, I make it through speeches, I make it through toasts, and then I sit down, everybody's eating dinner, I take off, I go downstairs, I get ice water, I try to cool myself off, and it's not working. So for the next 5 hours, I can't get my heart rate under 110. And I'm still operating in the level that I need to operate at because I am not going to be the reason somebody gets their wedding experience diminished, right? That's just not me. That's not my way. I would never do that. So I fast forward to the car. I get into the car. I sit down. I blast my AC. I call my wife, who I'm texting throughout this whole thing. And she's saying, you know, take your time, do what you can. Don't rush. I say, all right. So I'm in the car. I get home. By the time I get home, my heart rate's under 100. I feel fine. I feel good. I'm like, all right, cool. Probably a rough night. Whatever. It happens. It's happened to me before. I can deal. So I go to sleep. Wake up May 4th, Sunday morning. As I'm sitting in Sunday morning, I get up, I get a cup of coffee, I give my wife a kiss. It's like, I'll talk to you later. I'm on my way to church. I get to church, we sit down, church starts, our pastor starts speaking. I am in a sitting position for about 15 minutes. And if you've ever been in a sitting position, which I think a lot of us have over the last few days, you know you're not really doing much. I get lightheaded, I get dizzy. I lose feeling in my chest, like I almost forget how to breathe. And my watch dings, high heart rate notification. This time it jumped up to about 185, 190. Now I'm just sitting. And of course, my wife gets the text notifications on my health because that's what we do, because when she's actually pregnant with our number 2 at this point. So in case she needs anything, she can message me and vice versa. She goes, you need to go to urgent care. I'm like, I'm not going to urgent care. So like every good married husband, we compromised and I went to urgent care. I get to urgent care, and if any of us have been into urgent care, raise your hand, wave, throw something in the chat and comments. Right. Cool. How many people have fun at urgent care? Right. Yeah. Hardly anybody, I bet. I'm one of those guys because me and awkward silence don't get along well. So I'm just sitting there going, you know, okay, whatever. My wife is in the medical field. She's a nurse. She's brilliant. So of course I'm going to talk to her. I've had my own personal experiences as an EMT throughout my life. So I have the medical knowledge and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay. So I sit down. What do they do? Hi, how are you? Tell us what happened. Well, I recap the last couple of events. And I said, I'm just sitting down. They're like, okay, what's your heart rate now? I'm like, right now, nothing. Because for some reason it was normal. It's fine. Okay. All right, cool. Vitals, stats, EKG, doctor will be in. We'll talk to you later. All right, cool. So they leave. I'm sitting by myself thinking about what I'm going to do next, texting my wife, what are we doing for lunch and all that jazz. And the doctor walks in. Doctor walks in and goes, hey, buddy, can you tell me what happened? Well, I'll recap it for the third time, right? You get good at remembering what happens once you stay at, more than like 5 or 6 times. And yes, Mrs. Batman is smart. That's why she's my wife. She's far smarter than I will ever be in my life. I promise you that. So I am in urgent care. Doc walks in and he goes, hey, a couple questions for you. Anybody in your family have heart disease? I'm like, well, heart disease, yes. Hypertension, yes. Manic depressants, yes, and all that fun stuff. And then he stops. He goes, has anybody in your family ever suddenly dropped dead from a heart attack? Suddenly, no. He's like, are you sure? I was like, well, I got to call my mother for that information because I am a man and I don't quite remember my family history as well as everyone else does. So we just go back and forth and he's like, okay, cool. He's like, well, listen, your stats came out good. Your vitals came out great. Your EKG looks good. He's like, so I'm like, all right, cool. So I get up, I put my stuff on. He's like, but I want you to go to the ER. And I was like, all right, hold up, doc. Everything good. No hospital. Simple brain, right? He goes, yes. He's like, but he's like, there's something about your EKG I don't like. And in a nutshell, he says this literally word for word. He's like, there is a 95% chance this is nothing. He said, at best, you're going to go to the ER. They're going to waste your time. You're going to be fine. But in the event that I am right about what I think this might be, if you go to the ER, I'm going to save your life today. Well, you don't have to tell me twice. My wife will not let me come home. I'm going to get in the car and go to the hospital. Right? So here's what's going to happen. So I'm driving to the hospital. And at this point, there's a babysitter for my son because my wife's at the Mother's Day baseball game, if I'm not mistaken. So she's at a baseball game with her mom, my sister-in-law, and the girls for a girls' day. We got a babysitter for AJ, and I'm sitting in the ER with apparently something that they don't even think is whatever. So I'm going through the motions with them, ER doctors and nurses. Hey, tell me what happened. Sure. Let me regale you the tale of how I just got lightheaded and overheated and my heart just kept creeping up. They're like, okay, cool. They're like, well, they're looking at the EKG from the urgent care. And they're like, man, this one doesn't look great. We're going to get you a better one. I said, no problem. So we go through all of that fun stuff. And mind you, the gentleman that I talked to at urgent care, I'd asked him what he thought this was before I went to the ER. So he wrote it down on the back of the EKG. And he's like, this is what I think it could be. He's like, I doubt it. He's like, but go ahead. He's like, don't look it up because they'll look at it and they'll check it out. I don't know if anybody has been in the emergency room, but you have a lot of time to yourself. Sitting in the waiting room, sitting on a bed, waiting for the next person to talk to you. So I look at the back of the EKG, and the back of the EKG says something called Brugada syndrome. And I'm like, I have no idea what the hell that even means. I know, I'm going to Google it. Yes, Deb's already on this right now, right? I'm going to Google it. I want to read you what the overview is of this, okay? Brugada syndrome is a rare inherited heart rhythm disorder affecting the heart's electrical system, often causing dangerous rapid heartbeats, and it typically causes fainting, seizures, or sudden cardiac death, especially during sleep or rest, commonly diagnosed in adults around 40. This is May 4th. It is 19 days before my 39th birthday. And yes, the symptom is cardiac death. So naturally, I'm looking at this going, okay, pardon the friend, there's no freaking way. No, not even close. So we sit, ER doc comes up. Hey, talk to the people over at urgent care. They gave me the diagnosis. They told me what was on. They showed me his concerns. We took your EKG. Your EKG looks great. Your vitals are great. We kept you a little bit longer for observation. Everything's good. The only recommendation we have is to follow up with your cardiologist to make sure that things are okay. Oh, bet. That's easy. I know my cardiologist. I have one because I had done physical fitness exercises and stuff in the past for firefighting. So I have a good relationship with my cardiologist and I see him regularly. This will be fine. So fast forward to this appointment. We go into the cardiologist, me and my wife, and I'm sitting down and I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, hey, buddy, what happened? I'm like, do I have to tell you this again? Like, is it not in the file? Did we not fax paperwork over? Anybody get so tired of repeating the same story that you just don't want to talk about it anymore? Cool. I want you to keep that in your mind because we're going to revisit that statement in a little bit. So I sit and I go through and I'm talking about Brugada syndrome to my cardiologist, and my cardiologist is like, there is no way. It is an inherited thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. You have no family history of this. Okay, cool. I'm going to put you on an EKG. They put me on the EKG. We sit and we chat and we're doing everything that we need to do and it's fine. So again, looks at his stuff, does the overview. I think you're fine. This looks great. We'll talk to you later. All right, just schedule an appointment in another 6 months. You don't need to see me now. Said, all right, cool. So I'm in the car with my wife and we're driving home. 25 minutes later, the phone rings and it's the cardiologist's office. And call up, hey, what's going on? Hey, listen, this is the doctor's office. The doctor wanted to know if anybody in your family has ever suddenly dropped dead from a heart attack. So, okay, no, that answer's no. Why? So let's talk about this. While the EKG looks good, but there's a little blip on the EKG that runs synonymous with the heart rhythm that is identical to this syndrome. We want to send you to an electrophysiologist. So the electrophysiologist, what they do is they look at the electricity of your heart. As a cardiologist, I look at the plumbing. So an electro what? Did you guys even know that there was such a thing called an electrophysiologist? Because I did not. Mary's like, yes, all right. Oh, Mary, you're my girl right now. I did not know that. So when you start hearing things, and this is important, when you start hearing things, they start to become real. So I was okay with thinking that this was completely fine until I heard the same repetitive question over and over again by different people. And my wife, I love you. She's correcting me. I love it. Actually said, we're going to schedule you for an echo and a stress test and a home heart monitor just to be sure, and then send me to that guy. That's true. That's true. But I will get to that in a second. So I'm dealing with this. My wife is obviously concerned. We care about each other, thank God. So we're going back and forth through all of this, and it starts to get real for me, right? And the only thing I'm hearing in my head now is sudden cardiac death, especially during sleep. I have no control over how I sleep. I have no ability to know what the hell is going on when I sleep. And this is where this can happen, right? Not to mention, you can pass out. So I can just randomly throughout the day, just knock myself out and call it a day. Like my body just decides to drop when it wants. This is starting to pile on me a little bit. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you get into situations and you're thinking about things, when stuff comes up, you start thinking differently. You start looking differently. You start acting differently. You start behaving differently. You start doing things differently. And it's not because you want to, it's because you don't know what to do. Or you don't know how to do it. So here's what's running through my mind as I have to go through all of the things that my wife put in the chat. I'm 39 years old. I have a 3-year-old kid. I have another one on the way. I have a business that I'm trying to build. I have a life that I'm trying to provide for my kids. There is no fucking way that this is happening right now. And it's one thing when we talk about loss and grief and we talk about all of these things, right? It's another thing when you experience them. And I'll get to that in a second as well. But then I started acting differently. I started to get nervous when I had to go to sleep. Has anybody in here ever closed their eyes wondering if it's the last time they're going to open them again? Like legitimately, like the last time you will ever open your eyes. That started to happen. There was a new fear with going to sleep. There's a new fear with looking over at my wife going, I hope I get to open my eyes again the next day. And my wife, my God, let me tell you, she was brilliant. She's so damn supportive. She was so reassuring. She was so freaking awesome. She was so awesome. In fact, and I quote, this actually happened. And if she lies, she's going to know it. I'm sitting on the couch on one afternoon. We get home from running errands. I'm tired. I plop on the couch. I lay back. And as I close my eyes, I go to sleep. And as I go to sleep, my body relaxes and I tip. I tip over and I'm laying on the left side of my couch. Now, my wife's in the kitchen putting groceries away. My wife turns around and looks over and sees what she thinks is me slumped over. She calls my name or, hey, babe, are you okay? I don't answer because I'm asleep. But my wife, the loving woman that she is, runs to the living room and football punts me straight in my shin. She kicks me so hard that I snap awake from pain and I look at my wife and I go, what was that for? And she goes, you were asleep. I was like, I know. And she's like, you didn't answer me. I said, I was asleep. She was like, you were slumped over. I said, because I was asleep. And she goes, okay, I was just checking. You think different, you behave different, and you act different. Okay, she's even put in the chat. He was slumped over. I was slumped over. All right. Well, let's fast forward to Dr. Shock, because that's the next place that I have to go. And so we're there. Yes, am I dead? Thankfully, I was not. Spoiler alert. I sit in front of the electrophysiologist. Now, I've never heard of anybody like this guy. I've never, whatever. This guy walks in. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Tell me what happened. I have said what happened so many damn times. And mind you, my heart has not had an episode since then. So I'm getting more and more frustrated and I'm thinking more and more like it's in my head. Has anybody had that feeling where it's like it's only happening to me conveniently at the worst possible times? And whenever it needs to happen, it doesn't show up. So I just look like I'm an insane human being for saying this. So I'm talking to the electrophysiologist and I'm like, all right, I told them what happened. And they're like, okay, cool. They start asking the questions. Anybody in your history have heart disease? No. Anybody in your family suddenly drop dead from a heart attack? No. Okay, cool. How's your relationship with heat? That question stopped me dead in my tracks because that was a problem. And I said, well, what do you mean? He was like, what's heat exhaustion to you? I said, oh. I said, heat exhaustion to me, if I get overheated, my heart starts to race. My heart starts to race. I need to sit down. I need to get cold. When I get cold, that helps me and that slows it down. He's like, yeah, that's not heat exhaustion. That's the electrical responses of your heart responding to heat, and it's not working well. So essentially what's happening is your heart is compensating. People who are overheated, they get dehydrated, they get tired. You don't get tired, your heart races. And if you've ever passed out, that could lead to what suddenly kills you. Have you ever passed out? No, I've never passed out. All right, you ever have to go to the hospital? No, I've never had to go to the hospital. Okay. All right, sweet. So then proceeds a 2-month battery of tests between an echo, an EKG, a heart monitor, a test, a stress test, and all of this stuff. And like I said, you know, at this point, I think I'm trying out for the Olympics because they're putting me through so many things. And I'm like, man, I was like, if you want to dissect my heart, you know, might as well just dissect my heart. Just tell me what's going on, right? Now, mind you, as I'm going through this, I still need to operate as a father. I still need to operate as a husband. I still need to operate as a business owner. I still need to operate and show up, as people had said. Dr. Oliver Reed said it. I still need to show up, right? So I'm trying my best to show up, but it's hard to show up when you're scared. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. It's hard to show up as you when you're scared. It's hard to show up as you when you're afraid or angry or nervous, because that is not you. That is a mask that you put on to show other people to pretend that you're okay. So after 2 months of a battery test, it comes out to this. Well, James, you have this syndrome. You have this syndrome, but you don't have the major features of this syndrome. Okay, what the hell does that mean? It means that we have to put this on paper because we found it, but we don't want you to live the diagnosis. You're fine. You're free to go, but you can suddenly drop dead. Trying to compute this in my brain. They're like, we did an echo, we did a stress test, we looked at your heart. Everything about your heart physically is perfect. You have the model heart. If there was anybody that would be willing to take heart from you, God forbid, if you ever passed, it's perfect. I said, okay, cool. So I'm thinking I'm going to put this behind me. I pick up my stuff. I put my coat on, and I'll never forget this because my doctor grabbed me by my shoulder, spun me around, and he looked me straight in my eyes as I'm looking straight into this camera. And he said this. He said, you have a beautiful heart, James, but you have to use it. There are moments in life where we get clarity, and there are moments in life that hit hard, and there are moments in life that stop. My cardiologist said I had to use my heart, and I knew what he was talking about. This was a 2.5 to 3 month journey, okay? We get so worried about the variables in our life that we forget what's actually important. We get so worried about losing people, places, and things that we forget in the variables of life that we lose ourselves in the process. We get so rattled by someone else's issues that those issues become our own, and then we're no longer taking on our own problems. We're dealing with everyone else's as well. Or sometimes we get so protective of life that we wall up, and then the very people that need us can't see us because we are not us anymore. And there's one thing that I noticed, and that I was so worried about losing my wife and so worried about losing my kids that I never thought that they were going to lose me in real time. See, we talk about things, but I just want to be brutally honest. And we all know this. Death is final. Living is optional. It's optional. What I love about this summit, and this is where my story becomes our story, okay? Because when we sit here, I was so busy worried about the variables, I wasn't looking at what is important. So I have a question for everyone. What's your variable? What's your emotion? What's your negative thought? What's your excuse? What's your logistic? What's your circumstance? What's your frame of mind? What is it that's stopping you from being you? What is it that is distracting you from what actually matters in this world? What's stopping you from making a post about your business? What's stopping you for living the life the way that you decide to, or the way that we talk about all the time in public but can't do in private? What is it in private that you need to let go of or shed or get rid of or destroy in order for you to take that step out of the variable and into the reality, into presence? Because let's talk about the time is now. There is no other time. Tomorrow isn't here yet, and yesterday's already gone. So the people that are watching this right now, the people that are sitting in the moment, you are here, and here is what matters. Here is where you have the most power, the most clarity, the most focus, the most energy, the most emotion, the most potential to impact. We cannot impact people tomorrow if we don't talk about today. So the time is now. There is no other time. There is no other time. And about igniting sparks, let's talk about sparks, because sparks don't just appear in comfortable places. Sparks require two pieces of force, and two surfaces have to collide for sparks to happen. If you've ever tried to start a campfire, if you ever opened up your stove and tried to turn on a gas stove, you see the sparks light before the flames arrive. Pressure needs to meet resistance in order for sparks to be created. Heat needs to meet tension. That is how sparks are created. And let me tell you something. If there is no friction, there is no fire. So if you are trying to build something and you have no resistance, then it's not the thing you're meant to build. But if you're looking at the things that feel like there's an insurmountable piece of resistance, that's the thing you need to go after the most, because that's what's going to cause the most spark. That's what's going to create the most fire. So Fire needs friction. Friction is not optional. Second thing, okay? Sparks are small, but they're proof. They are proof. They are brief. And they almost look insignificant. Has anybody actually seen what sparks look like? They are nothing to behold. They are nothing impressive. They are nothing to be desired. But they are proof that ignition is possible. They are proof that heat exists. And guess what? They are proof that something is alive. Most people like us, we wait for explosions. Why? Because they're big, because they're obvious, because they're powerful, right? But here's the thing about explosions. Explosions cause damage. Sparks require protection. And the question is, will you protect it long enough so it can build into something? Justin nailed it on the head perfectly. And I want to say this, sparks fly. They don't sit in one place, okay? They scatter, they move, they travel, they blow in the wind. When you strike a flint to start a fire, they don't directly aim one place, they go everywhere else. So for everyone who's isolating with their business or opportunity or idea or thing, and they keep striking the match and they keep hitting the friction, the sparks are flying everywhere, but you're by your damn self. You need community. You need people around you. You need people that you can trust, people that will listen to you, people that will love you, people that will care about you. Because you know what happens? Exactly what happens in this event. And this is why I love David for so much for putting it on, and why I love David for so much for actually bringing it to life. Because I might say something that impacts someone else. Someone else might say something that impacts somebody else that I would never be able to reach. But what happens? Sparks fly and fire builds. Flames are created. And then you have what we call a wildfire or a movement. When you try to strike matches to yourself, sparks die in isolation. But in a community, they thrive. Why we need to be surrounded by people, and damn good people at that. And I want to say that to say this, NBM, it is not your average community. David did not wake up one day and go, man, guys, you know what would be great? It'd be great to just bring a bunch of people together to talk about miserable things. I want to talk about everybody else's sadness because that's what I do. No, David laid the groundwork and the foundation. He took wood and sand and flint and tinder, and he built this thing from the ground up, and he looked at his own grief, his own misery. He set that shit on fire, and he went, guys, this is where you go to feel better. This is where you go to feel healed. This is where you go to share this grief and this misery. This is where we pour flame and fury and depression and sadness and negativity. This is where it goes. Why? Because the brighter it burns, the more people that see it. And the more people that see it, the more people that I can help. Friction produces the spark. Presence protects the spark. And community spreads its fire. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not surrounded by people you know, like, and trust, you need to find them, okay? During this 90-day experience, and I'm wrapping up, Dave, I promise you, during this 90-day experience, I shared this journey with 15 people that I know, like, and trust at that point in time. 14 of them said, man, we're praying for you. We hope everything's going well for you. Let us know if you need anything. There was only one, and he's laughing, one that said, holy shit, what are we going to do? How are we going to get through this? How are we going to get there? We, not me, we. And I will love that man forever for that statement and that phrase. Because that man showed me that even in the freaking scariest of moments, he threw down everything he had and he went to go, what are we going to do? And I fucking love you for that, Michael. Don't ever say I don't say anything nice to you. So ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. The sparks have been lit. The impact is here. We've all been affected. We've all been moved. We've all been appreciated. We've all been recognized. We've all been called out. We've all been supported. David's got the next piece in play. The only thing that's stopping you is your ability to choose or choose to be comfortable. And I promise you that if you stay in David's hands and you continue to climb up this mountain with him, he will show you sights and scenes you have never seen before. So Dave, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate you and I love you. And ladies and gentlemen out there, choose to make every moment matter, not just the ones that aren't here yet. Thank you.
Holy shit, James. Wow, thank you for bringing it all home, bringing it up to the mountaintop, for bringing your passion, bringing that energy that we all fell in love with and know. And I know Mrs. Batman fell in love before we all knew you and fell in love with that. Oh my, yeah, there's instant hands popping up. So before I let everybody in the Zoom room say what they want to pour into you, brother, I love you, man.
Love you too, man.
I've always wanted a younger brother. Now I've got two. That's you and that's Austin. And I'm extremely grateful for that. I love what you do. I love your passion. And you are one lucky SOB, dude. You got a beautiful wife. You got a beautiful son. And you have a adorable, beautiful, gorgeous daughter that I'll never forget 2 months ago when you brought her on camera. That was a very special moment. So thank you, brother, from the bottom of my heart for bringing us up to the rim of the summit. And I'll bring it home after everybody pours into you. So, okay, everybody, James is a beautiful man. We all know this. And I'm not going to pick who gets to go first and who goes next. So let's go with Deb. Deb, what do you got?
Thank you, James. Okay, 90 days of sheer terror. Psychological warfare is what you went through and came through the other side and are surrounded by exactly who you need to be surrounded by. And Mrs. Batman, you got your work cut out for you.
Yes, she does, actually.
And you pretty much were wrapping with, we are here. Here's what matters. Couldn't have said it better. And it was making me think about how logging in yesterday morning and 12 hours later, and then logging in this morning, and now about 12 hours later, what has struck me so much is everyone who stays in this instant click gratification, scroll, swipe society. David, what you have done is nothing short of a miracle. And everyone here who has stayed and everyone whose collective energy we've been feasting off of for the last 2 days, applause to all. This is special.
It's my honor, Deb. It's a privilege to be able to have this moment and movement with each and every one of you. Sierra, what you got? Grana.
So, I adore Kelly, so therefore I have to adore you. No, I'm kidding.
Take a number.
I'm not going to say anything mean. I got to hear you speak at MMV, and I've heard you on the stage before. I love the fire that you bring and the passion that you bring, and I love how you keep showing up for yourself, even though most days it's hard to do that. But get out there more. Do more of this. I think this is your natural talent and where you thrive and what you actually should be doing. I've told you what I think you should be doing. So I'm here to support you. And yeah, this was really good. Way to close it out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Mary Woods, what you got for us?
Thank you. James, so I remember when you actually posted about your heart, because I going through something very similar, being faced with my mortality. The reason I know about the doctors is because of vascular rupture and sudden death that I'm going through. So I appreciate you pouring into me. It's not the same disorder, but cardiac sudden death is very up in front in my face, and I've been avoiding it because I don't want to know the answers. I want to live life and not suddenly, you know. So I appreciate you saying what you said tonight, because it's giving me the courage to seek the medical things that I need to seek for me. So thank you.
Well, one, you're welcome, and two, yeah, when it's hard to want to know what the answers are in difficult things, but we're better off for it, whether we want to know or not, because we can handle ourselves in a way that, you know, is best for us. And when you're sitting in a lot of uncertainty, it just makes us less authentic and less genuine and less present. So I would encourage you to do that. And if you ever need anything, message me. I'm here.
I will. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I second that, Mary. I remember when James posted about that, I reached out to him and we had a dialogue because of what I deal with from the genetic disorder with the aortic dissection. So go check on that. Knowledge is power, and being able to know how to take care of your heart is the essential part of your body. So thank you for sharing that. What you got for us, Miss Raven?
James, thank you so much. What a powerful testimony you had. And a lot of what you said resonated with me. And I'm just so grateful that you were able to share it so openly. And what I've observed, I just met you, but what I've observed tonight is how you pour in to everyone. So supportive. I mean, it's just so impressive to me how you're able to do that. And even all that you've been through, you just exude so much joy. Your spirit to me is so joyous. And it's something, it gives hope. And I'm so happy that I met you.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same way about you, literally.
Thank you.
Before I give it to the last two gentlemen of the evening, is there anybody else that would like to pour into Mr. James? Go ahead, Sierra.
Oh. I have
James,
to.
I'm gonna second what Raven just said. I've been listening in on YouTube, and so I haven't like been in the room, but I've been observing the room. And after every speaker after speaker after speaker, you pour into them. And I don't even have words to how I want to pour into you, but I just really hope that you understand how important you are and how loved and cherished you are. Because you are a gem of a human. Since the first time I met you, I'm just like, who is this guy? And he just loves on everybody. And sometimes when you have that personality to love on everyone, you forget to let everybody love you back. And so I hope that you're open to receiving all of the love, because you are a really, really big deal.
I receive that. It's something I've been working on a lot lately, and I appreciate that. And it means more to me than I probably can explain in a couple sentences. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. I had a feeling there was one other lady out there that wanted to pour into Mr. James. What you got for us, Mr. Faber? Yes, I called you Mr. Faber.
Did you just call me a lady first?
Oh.
I knew there was one more lady that wanted to pour into James, Mr. Faber. I was like, whoa.
Of course.
I was like, are you taking a shot at me right now? I was like, I can't take shots at James, so I can give you some though. No, dude, James, one of the things I love about you, man, we talk culture a lot, our culture, what we're trying, what we are, what we're about. And it's rare. Right? It's rare you find it. It's rare you find a lot of communities. It's rare you find a lot of places. And one of the things you do is you don't talk it, you live it, man. Right? Like you live, it's always we, it's never me. Right? Like you live that. You love torture. Right? It's the only reason why anyone stays around me. You know what I mean? Like, you do live events with me, you love torture. Right? And you just keep coming back. Right? It's weird. I don't get it. I thought the first time you weren't ever going to come back, but you just keep coming back and want to do more. But you are the constant we guy. Right? And as I always say, Unleash United doesn't have a leader. We're all leaders. Right? The way you live makes me have to live better. Right? Like, the way you are makes me have to be better. Just who you are, just your fabric, your DNA, brother. Right? So you make me have to be better. And the amount of times that, you know, I don't really have a muzzle, man. You know, I don't have a mute. I'm gonna talk my shit. Right? I'm gonna talk my shit, man. And everybody's going to have to hit wherever everybody lies on it. They're going to have to lie on it. And one of my favorite things about you is that you'll literally hit me up in 2 seconds and be like, who are we fighting?
That's true.
Who are we going at? Right?
That is so true.
I'm like, dude, there's few people that are so dedicated to the cause as you. And that I'll never forget or take lightly. And like you said, I'll always be your brother. You'll always be mine, man. There'll be nothing but love between us. How you show up for your people, how you love your people, how you pour into it, how you support them. I don't know if I know anyone better. All right. And when David told me you were closing, I said, oh, that's a good closer. He'll bring the energy. I didn't do it justice. All right, you brought way more than just energy, brother. You killed it. All right. So tonight, I'm proud to know you, man. I'm honored to call you my brother. And man, you made me have to get better. So I appreciate you for that.
I appreciate you, man. And that feeling is very much mutual. And in retrospect, you inspire me to be better every day.
But it's always we.
Damn straight.
Absolutely. And now the famous Austin Cunliffe from Des Moines, Iowa. What you got for us, brother?
I got a lot, but I will keep it short. James, I just wanted to say thank you for being here with us for these past 2 days, as well as Deb and Trish, and there's many others. I want to thank the speakers that have just poured their hearts and souls into this and believing in David. And I just also want to thank David. I have known David for the last 19 years now, and I have seen him grow through all of this, and it's amazing to see. And he was the best man in my wedding. So, like, we've been through some things. I just want to say, you know, thank you for believing in David and in us for just believing in us, and subscribe to our YouTube channel because I've been working on it. It's a work in progress. Got to throw the plug in there. And subscribe. But anyway, I want to say flame on, but that was already said already. So
what better way to end the show, man? Go on. You give us your best one.
My kids need me. I'm tired.
That's amazing, brother. And if you say flame on, your oldest might come downstairs and look at you and go, what's going on, Dad? I want to say it too. And so he is the mini-me of Austin. But thank you, Austin. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, James, for bringing the fire and getting us to the rim of the summit. And what a incredible 2 days this has been. It's been highly impactful to me, as you can tell. I've had my moments. Everybody's had their moments throughout these last 2 days. But this is the line in the sand, y'all. I don't want everybody to go back down this mountain and down into the base camp and get back into the shadow of the mountain. We have more work to do. We have more mountains to climb. We can descend the mountain and enter another base camp and ignite another spark and push for another summit. But I don't want everybody to get off this call and go back and to allow the fear and the unknowns, reaching for that cell phone, wanting to make that call that you may not get again when a loved one passes away. This moment, these last 2 days, has highly impacted my life. Let's make this summit matter, and let's push even harder and even higher to higher summits. Here in Colorado, I already forgot the name of the summit, unfortunately, and maybe Austin can correct me on this, but our highest peak here in Colorado is 14,000 feet high. The highest summit in the world is Mount Everest. And at the end of my time, when my time is called to go home, I want to be able to make a pit stop on my way to heaven with however I get to heaven and stop at the summit of Everest and scream at the top of my lungs that I've finished the race, I have fought the fight. And that's what we're going to do now that this amazing summit victory, exactly, Michael, this summit has come to this point. Let's not end it here. Let's go into the 5-day challenge, and I would love to have you guys with us. Let's continue to push for that. The loss affected us deeply, but let's not let it hold us back. Let's make it the legacy that our loved ones would want us to live now. Let's make an even more meaningful and a impactful life that we can live to the fullest, so that when we're living, for those who are parents, that your kids can see that. And so if you want to join us, I'll put the link out on Facebook here in about an hour, and I would love for you guys to join us. It'll be in a couple of weeks, and we're going to hit it even higher and go to higher summits. So everybody on Facebook, YouTube, thank you for sticking this out. We're over 25 hours for the first Mountain Summit Virtual of 2026. Save the date, April 7th and April 8th. That's the next summit coming, and we're going to be bringing it even stronger than what we did this time. This time was incredible. So everybody in Facebook, YouTube, thank you for hanging in with us. We've had a lot of comments from YouTube that have been rolling in. Thank you for you guys on YouTube. Before we end this, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Tim Gillette, May Scott, Eric Yusko, John Lester, Tish McDaniel, and Sierra Grana. Thank you for backing us. Thank you for backing this movement. We love you, we appreciate you, and we honor you. Here are your flowers, as everybody says. I'm still learning to say that. So flowers, flowers, flowers. To Michael Martin Hummel, thank you for being our Mountain Summit sponsor, brother. Love you, brother, to the tops of the mountains, and I can't wait for the stories of diversity. Come tune in and check that out, everybody. And thank you all for hanging out with us. We're going to hang out with me in Zoom for really quick, everybody, as we close out. Everybody in Facebook and YouTube, have a beautiful night. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep journeying forward, and let's keep the rise going. Love each and every one of you.